Chapter 2445, Genius Like Monster. Chapter 2445, Genius Like Monster, Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Shan for obtaining 50,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining fierce magic pill. 2 system notifications sounded out. He dropped a medicinal pill. Long Fei stood on top of Meng Shan's mount, scanned, and asked, "Who else?" Roar. Meng Shan's mount roared. Without waiting for it to roar, Long Fei moved once again. The Ju Ke sword slashed down. The demon beast's head fell down once again, and the system sounded out once more. Blood sprayed out. He landed on the Ju Ke sword. Not a drop of blood stained the sword as it dripped down. Long Fei looked at the stupefied warrior of Meng clan and said coldly, "Who else?" Long Fei's aura was like a god of death. It crushed everyone around it. They had looked down on humans and despised them since they were young, but now, in front of this human, they were too scared to even move. This caused their pride to suffer. No one moved, right? Very good. Now let me ask you, what is your goal? Long Fei looked at a warrior of Meng clan. Warrior of Meng clan lowered his head in silence. Long Fei's voice suddenly exploded, and she shouted, "Speak!" Rumble! The death god's aura surged again, just like a pair of sickles placed on their necks. As long as they didn't say anything, their lives would be taken. Refining sacred flame. It's a sky fire. Meng Shan wants to obtain the heaven flame. That's it. We were forced to do it too. Lord, please let us go. Their minds had collapsed, unable to withstand the aura being emitted from Long Fei's body. As expected, Long Fei trembled slightly. The instant the heaven flame landed on the refining platform, it directly illuminated the entire wilderness. The Meng family must have seen it. Because of the relationship between the Meng family and the San Moon tribe, they were more clear about what the heaven flames signified. Long Fei asked, "Is this just Meng Shan's idea?" "We don't know. We will only listen to Captain Meng Shan's orders. We don't know anything else," the warrior of Meng clan said. At that time, all of the San Moon people were dumbstruck. They had assumed that the Meng clan would go all out to help them because they thought that the Meng clan could be their second home. However, the result was actually like this. Since you don't know. Long Fei's eyes moved. The Ju Ke sword in his hand continued to slash. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. He raised his hand, and the sword descended. 1 sword attack for 1 kill, all of them were instantly killed. The system was also beeping. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing warrior of Meng clan for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing warrior of Meng clan for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing warrior of Meng clan for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. 10,000 experience points isn't bad. Long Fei would not miss any opportunity to earn experience. Since these people wanted to kill him, he would not show the slightest bit of mercy. He wouldn't let anyone who deserved to be killed off. Not a single person from the warrior of Meng clan remained. Long Fei looked at the San Moon people and asked, "Can you see the faces of the Meng family clearly now?" Unexpectedly, I could never have imagined that the main goal of the Meng clan would be heavenly flame. What an ambitious wolf. The old chief is really blind. Right. Princess. Immediately, Long Fei's eyes also tensed up, his heart thumped. Nothing will happen to him. right? I don't think so. He was very clear about Kai Lina's cultivation level. It was impossible for him to be unable to handle a few warrior of Meng Claness. But, with her speed, she should have returned by now. Long Fei had an ominous premonition in his heart. And then, Long Fei quickly rushed out. The Sand Moon people did not stop and quickly chased after him. No one noticed that an elder of the Sand Moon people had stopped there. Looking at Meng Shan's head, he stepped forward fiercely. Bang! Meng Shan's head exploded. Useless trash! You who cursed angrily and fished out an insignia from his bosom. As the true chi was injected, the insignia suddenly turned into a ray of light. Shwa! He disappeared in the blink of an eye. In another place, Meng Clan, within a luxurious courtyard, a man with a purple gold crown on his head was reading a book. Suddenly, he raised his eyes and stared at the beam of light descending from the sky. A fiendish look appeared on his forehead. The book, in his hand, crumbled into fine powder. Useless thing! The man shouted coldly. In an instant, the man disappeared. Within a few breaths' time, he appeared in the savage desert at the exit of Sunset Canyon. Within the gorge, Long Fei chased after him, but discovered that there were a dozen forks in the canyon ahead. The man from the Sand Moon tribe immediately pointed out a path and said, "This is the path that leads out of the valley. It must be this way." Long Fei madly chased after him again. However, there was no sign of Kai Lina on the way. Did something happen? He still went out. Long Fei could not determine either, but he could not. Since they were about to reach the exit, they should at least bring the Sand Moon people out safely. 10 minutes later, it's out. It's out. It's finally out of the canyon. Where's the princess? Why haven't we seen the princess? At the entrance of the canyon, everyone was panting heavily. Long Fei did not realize that Kai Lina and the Princess Sand Moon had become tense and wanted to return to the canyon immediately. However, in that instant, an incomparably powerful aura attacked. Terrifying, almost in an instant. Long Fei's mind slightly trembled. He slowly turned around and looked at a certain spot. One of them had a purple gold crown on his head, and his face was sickly pale, but on his body, however, it carried with it an incomparably thick and powerful aura. Long Fei looked at him again. He was also looking at Long Fei. Their eyes met. Lightning crashed against each other. Flames flew in all directions. Long Fei's heart trembled. So strong. This person, at least the peak of arrogant form, right? Just when the man wanted to take a step forward, a figure descended from the sky. Boom! Kai Lina landed, and she held Princess Sand Moon in her hands. Kai Lina's heart also shivered as he sensed a powerful aura, after which he looked at Long Fei and said apologetically, "I got lost just now." Long Fei was startled. It was also at this time, when Princess Sand Moon wanted to thank Kai Lina, she couldn't help but look at the man with the purple gold crown. Her eyes slightly moved, and at this moment she felt a strange aura. She knew this aura very well. This was the essence of blood from the contract of marriage. The man in front of him, it was her fiancé, the Meng Qian of 18 Captains of Magic King, a monstrous genius. Chapter 2446, Confrontation Between Ice and Fire. Chapter 2446, Confrontation Between Ice and Fire. The first impression was different, very strong. It had a suffocating power. 18 Captains of Magic King. This is the cultivation level of the 18 Captains of Magic King. Long Fei was stunned. Looking at Meng Qian, he said in his heart, "Are all gods' sect gathering such monsters?" Just as Long Fei was feeling shocked, Meng Qian walked towards the Princess Sand Moon. Princess Sand Moon was also stunned on the spot. This was the first time she had met Meng Qian, and the feeling she gave off was a blank space. Most of them were shocked, seeing Meng Qian walking towards her. She was at a loss of what to do, her heart a little confused. Meng Qian walked to her side and gently said, "You mean heir?" Princess Sand Moon replied in shock, "Young Master Meng." Yumin was her name. Other than his clansmen, very few others knew about her name. Due to his engagement with Meng Qian, he knew very clearly what her name was. Meng Qian was very direct. He grabbed her hand and said, "It's safe now. No one can hurt my woman." Princess Sand Moon trembled. The instant his hand was held by Meng Qian, he didn't know why. A wave of fear rose in her heart. She couldn't help but glance at Long Fei. Long Fei also looked at Princess Sand Moon. Although it was just a glance, Meng Qian had already caught her. The corners of his eyes slightly turned cold as he looked at Long Fei and said, "She's safe now. She doesn't need your protection anymore." It was very cold. The iciness was tinged with contempt. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "She is her, you are you, and I don't care who you are." She said, "You don't need to be escorted, so I will naturally leave." Although he seemed to be speaking with a smile, Long Fei's tone of voice was extremely forceful. Meng Qian smiled and said, "I am very grateful for taking care of you all the way here, but now it's better for you to leave." Long Fei said, "And if I don't leave?" Meng Qian still had a smile on his face, but his pale white face, combined with his sinister smile, said, "If I don't leave, ha ha." He did not say anything, but his smile became even wider. Killing intent burst out of his eyes. At the same time, the breath coming from his body was like a surging wave of wetness that suddenly attacked. At this moment, buzz, buzz, rumble. The air exploded. The temperature suddenly dropped. Even in the scorching desert, the sand was quickly covered with a thin layer of frost, and the smell suddenly dropped by several dozen degrees. A cold chill came over him. It was as if his blood vessels had split open from the cold. The Sand Moon people all revealed painful expressions. Furthermore, they even released painful cries as they constantly trembled and kneeled on the ground. Incomparable pain. First stage of the arrogant form. Long Fei's body had already reached a very strong state. However, facing Meng Qian's sudden qi, his body sunk down. Although it was not as painful as the Sand Moon people, he was still holding on. He cursed in his heart, F***CK. This was only an aura and not even an oppressive might. How strong was Meng Qian's cultivation? Kai Linna's forehead tightened as he stared at Meng Qian. Inside the beast space, Transformers was also in a bad mood. "Boss, let me out. I want to kill him." "Who?" Long Fei let out a light breath, and the idea moved. "Wong." The power of the heavenly fire within the Ming clan seal instantly burst forth. Boom! The Qilin arm appeared, and his left arm combusted. In that instant, Long Fei activated his true essence, and the blazing aura released by the flames on his left arm instantly turned into a wave of energy that rushed forward. Boom! Boom! Rumble! The air around them seemed to be on fire as well, as they directly blocked the cold and sinister energy released from Meng Qian's body. It was also at this time the painful Sand Moon people behind Long Fei seemed to have revived as they gasped for breath heavily. "It's better if it's hot. It's too comfortable. I like the heat." A stream of fire energy and a stream of cold air crazily collided with each other, wreaking havoc, ice and fire visible to the naked eye. Scarlet flames, Xuanabai's ice. Meng Qian's eyes turned sinister as a cold light flashed in them. He released an even stronger cold chi, and rushed forward like an ice beast. Long Fei's footsteps sank slightly. The back of his feet had sunk completely into the sand, even if what he released was the power of the heavenly fire. However, he couldn't take it either. However, Long Fei had never admitted defeat. Seeing the ice beast rush towards him, Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Damn, am I afraid of you?" The power of the big fire ring. His left arm was burning even more fiercely. The fireball turned into an air flame and formed the shape of a scorching sun, directly blocking the attack. The moment of contact. Rumble! 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 The huge explosion shook the sky and wreaked havoc in a berserk manner. As the ice beast shattered, the power of the big fire ring that Long Fei released also crazily weakened as a result. Furthermore, Long Fei could not bear it. Buzz! The two forces were cancelled out. Long Fei's body sank down again. The corner of Meng Qian's mouth raised, and he glanced at Long Fei. And then he flipped his left hand. Walala! The sound of water instantly solidifying into ice resounded in the air as cracking noises continuously sounded. His aura suddenly retracted. At the same time, it was also at this moment that everything abruptly changed. Long Fei's eyes darkened. The power on his left arm also started to move as a huge amount of true essence started to pour in. At the same time, Long Fei's idea started to connect with the rotten ghost hand. As long as the power of the heavenly fire was unable to withstand it, he would instantly summon the Ghost Emperor. "I don't believe I can't kill you." However, suddenly, Princess Sand Moon moved, blocking in front of Meng Qian, and said faintly, "All right, I'll go with you." Then, the Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei and said, "The escort mission is over. Go, quickly leave this place." It was also at this time. Meng Qian laughed indifferently. The smile on his face was extremely pleased. His left hand sank, and the gloomy and cold chi in the air slowly disappeared. The surrounding people also let out a heavy sigh of relief. Long Fei's expression tightened and said, "You don't need to do this." Long Fei was not stupid. He could tell that the Princess Sand Moon was worried that he was no match for Meng Qian. Princess Sand Moon said, "This is my own choice. Leave and never come back here again." Princess Sand Moon turned around and took Meng Qian's arm and said, "Let's go." Meng Qian laughed complacently. He looked at Long Fei and said, "You want to steal from me? You think you're worthy? Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha." Meng Qian faced the sky and laughed, then walked out in big strides. Long Fei looked at Meng Qian's pleased expression. He was unhappy, but in his heart, he was extremely unhappy. Sand Moon people walked to Long Fei's side and said, "Master, thank you." "Hurry up and leave. The Meng clan is very powerful, and young Master Meng is 18 captains of Magic King. You can't afford to offend him. So leave this place as soon as possible. Let's go. If we're too late, then we won't be in a hurry. Let's go." Everyone began to urge him. Long Fei stood in place without moving an inch, until all the Sand Moon people had left. Long Fei looked in the direction that they had disappeared in, looking at the borders of the savage desert, and clenched his fists. "I have never been afraid. Here, let me show you a baby. Here, let me show you a baby." He had never been afraid of anyone. Yorong's master. So what if he was at Emperor Zhenwu's realm? When Long Fei was being suppressed by her aura, fear never arose in his heart. 18 captains of Magic King? A monstrous genius? So what? I need to be afraid of you? Just now, Meng Qian was like a rooster that was winning, laughing crazily in glee. Long Fei was very unhappy in his heart. 18 captains of Magic King is awesome? Fine. This father is someone who specifically tramples on others. Moreover, what was Long Fei doing in the wilderness? It was all for leveling up. Now that he had met the boss, how could he not fight for it? You don't want experience? Old fire had already appeared. Furthermore, Princess Sand Moon was very clear about the Meng family's goal, the Heaven Flame. Knowing that the Meng family still needed to go, he was walking towards a fiery pit. If he did not save them, Princess Sand Moon would definitely die. He definitely would not be able to live. Meng Qian looked a little handsome, but Long Fei felt that this brat might be a gay with a broken back. His behavior was too female. Finally, task. The escort mission was not over yet, but Long Fei did not receive the rewards. How could he just leave like that? With all of these combined, Long Fei couldn't leave. Meng clan, right? 18 captains of Magic King, right? See how lousy does it? Long Fei roared fiercely. He walked to the edge of the desert and started walking towards Meng City. Kai Lina looked at Long Fei, but she did not stop him this time, because she was also very unhappy with Meng Qian, especially the choice Princess Sand Moon made to protect Long Fei. As a woman, she knew that she was in a very bad mood. Seeing Long Fei's anger rise, she was also furious. What a great sister! How can she be destroyed by this kind of monster? Long Fei interrupted. That's right. Kai Lina glanced at Long Fei and said, flowers need to be placed on cow dung as well. Only then will they be more nourishing and nourishing. F*CK, why are you looking at me like that? Long Fei's eyes stared wide open as he reacted and said, I'm cow dung? Are you looking for a beating? All right, I'm cow dung. When did you insert that flower into my body? Had never forgotten about it. The allure of a foreign country could only be seen on television in his previous life. How could he let it slip away when there was such a chance in his life? How could he still be called a man? It was just that. During this period of time, Kai Lina had been flying in the sky, and he basically did not have any opportunities, so he could not possibly be crackling in the sky, right? Isn't that too difficult? Kai Lina looked at Long Fei and said, this flower of mine is poisonous. Long Fei said, I'm not afraid of poison. Kai Lina laughed faintly and did not continue with this question. Instead, he spread his wings and shouted, Shwa! Rushing up to the sky, he instantly vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a voice. I'll go scout first. Ugh. Don't go. Let's chat about 50 cents more. Say it. When will we get your flower? Long Fei looked at Kai Lina, who had turned into a black dot, and did not continue talking. Instead, he lightly smiled and said, since you have followed me, I will not let you go. There's no chance today, but there will definitely be a next time. Ha ha! After teasing Kai Lina for a while, he felt much better. However, Long Fei then recovered his expression, looked far away, and muttered, since you say I will fight with you, all right, then let me have a look and see who doesn't deserve it. Long Fei didn't have any thoughts towards the Princess Sand Moon in the first place. After all, he was here for cultivation, not to pick up a girl. However, Meng Qian's last sentence made him feel extremely unhappy. Stealing a woman? To be honest, Long Fei had never lost to anyone before. And then, Long Fei strode towards Meng City. One day later, Meng clan. Inside Meng Qian's courtyard, one of the Meng clan disciples reported. Reporting to young master, we didn't find the human you were talking about. When Meng Qian returned to the Meng family, his mind was filled with the images of Long Fei releasing the Heaven Flame's aura. From Yu Hu's words, he knew that the flame on Long Fei's left arm was the power of Heaven Flame. Furthermore, there was the look in Princess Sand Moon's eyes when he looked at Long Fei. He was very unhappy. Meng Qian squinted. No. Could it be? He really left. The corners of Meng Qian's eyes turned sinister as he muttered to himself. It is said that the heavenly fire is divided into two parts. One is the weapon-refining sacred flame, and the other is the supreme flame. As long as I fuse them to a high flame, I will control ice with one hand, fire with the other. Who in the gods' sect gathering can stop me then? Zhao Haojian, Yurong. What sect of infinitas is Tongshan? All of them will be trampled to death by me. The disciple said, Young master, what do we do now? Do you still want to continue searching? Meng Qian looked at him. The corners of his mouth revealed an evil look. He waved his hand and said, No need. A human is extremely weak. The trash must have fled. With his cultivation, he might even meet him at God's sect gathering. At that time I will make him kneel in front of me. That disciple immediately said, As you command, that disciple will take his leave. The evil intent on Meng Qian's face grew even stronger. He grabbed onto the disciple's hand and gently said, Don't be in such a hurry to leave. The voice became very feminine. The disciple trembled. Young master, I... Meng Qian held his hand. The disciple struggled with all his might. Finally, Meng Qian immediately forcefully dragged it over and laughed sinisterly. Come to my room. I'll show you a treasure. Half a minute later, an extremely painful scream rang out from the sky above the Meng clan. Another round of chuckles rang out. Princess, we are under house arrest. The butler elder walked over. Princess Sand Moon smiled bitterly. She thought that by eliminating the Sand Demon Sand Moon tribe, she would be able to get rid of the biggest hidden danger. Adding the god's fire heart S on top of that, their Sand Moon tribe would be able to rise again. However, he had just gotten out of the wolf's den and entered the tiger's den. The person in front of her was a friend of the Sand Moon tribe, and the current patriarch, Meng Zhan, was her father's sworn brother. Thinking about that, the Princess Sand Moon wanted to laugh. People say that the human race is treacherous and cunning, but isn't Magic Tribe the same as well? There was a trace of pain in Princess Sand Moon's eyes as he said to the elder, I understand. The elder said, The Meng family has really gone too far. If the Demon Emperor were to know what the Meng family has done, he would definitely not sit idly by. Princess, our Sand Moon tribe may not have been much in the past, and the Demon Emperor didn't care much about it. But now it's different. We have reacquired the god's fire heart, and our refining ability has increased by more than 100 times. As long as the Demon Emperor knows, he will definitely help us. The elder said anxiously, Indeed, in the past, people had forgotten that the Sand Moon tribe's refining ability had decreased. But now, the Sand Moon tribe possessed the sacred flame and was able to refine high-grade, heaven-ranked, and God-ranked weapons. Who among the Magic tribe dared to look down on them? The Demon Emperor didn't dare to ignore this. If he knew what the Meng clan had done, then Princess Sand Moon's eyes also slightly sunk as he muttered, Demon Emperor. Chapter 2448, Charging the Second-Level Ghost King. Chapter 2448, Charging the Second-Level Ghost King. Regenerate. Regenerate more. 10,000 won't be enough to see. At least 100,000. I want to crush him. In a certain valley, they were densely packed with alien demons that were resting on the ground, and on both sides of the valley, they were densely packed with alien demon eggs that made people's hair stand on end. Long Fei did not immediately enter the Meng city. He had to be prepared. It was a preparation that made one's scalp tingle with fear. For this, he allowed the alien queen to swallow 10,000 Grand Mist crystals. The entire valley was filled with the aliens' demon army. As long as Long Fei gave the order, they would immediately attack Meng's city. In the past, it was always the demon beast that attacked his city. It was his turn to lead the demon beast to attack other people's city. Standing on top of the mountain, Looking at Meng City in the distance, Long Fei muttered, "I am not worthy, am I?" At that time, we will see who is not worthy. Magic tribe. Humph. Let me show you what a magic tribe is. Long Fei was in high spirits. The alien queen came from the dark world. Although Long Fei's cultivation was not as strong as the Ocean King's, and was unable to make the alien's demon spirit become as strong as the ones from the dark world, but any one of the alien-s had to possess the strength of a elixir. They were ferocious and did not fear death. Most importantly, they were absolutely loyal to Long Fei. As Long Fei said it, they would not hesitate even if they knew that they were dead. Just charge. That's it. Even if he didn't win, he would still die. This was the alien demon. Long Fei's army. Buzz. Shwa. A black shadow descended from the sky like a bolt of lightning. It was just like the contraction of steel, incomparably cool. Kai Lina landed behind Long Fei and said, "According to the news that just came from the Meng family, Meng Qian and Princess San Moon will get married in 3 days." After she finished speaking, she looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's gaze tightened. "Married 3 days later?" Kai Lina said, "Moreover, your guess is right. Meng Qian is abnormal." Broken back gay. Long Fei couldn't help but laugh. "When I first saw him, I felt that he was a bit of a mother and a bit of a monster. I didn't expect him to really be a gay, just that I don't know if it's offense or offense." Kai Lina disdainfully said, "Why don't you try it out yourself?" Long Fei rolled his eyes at her and said, "I don't have that kind of hobby. I'll try it out on you." Kai Lina immediately fell silent. Long Fei asked, "Don't tell me you also have a fiancé in your hometown." Kai Lina's pair of eyes slightly sank, his gaze became a little lonely, and he laughed bitterly. "Even if there is, I'm afraid that he's also married to someone else now, and looking at my current appearance." An image flashed through his mind. A handsome man was trembling in fear from the pair of wings on her back. He continued to shout, "Monster, monster, F***CK. Am I the terminator of my fiancé?" Long Fei laughed, looked at Kai Lina seriously, and said gently, "Your appearance is very beautiful, extremely beautiful. Do you know what you are?" Kai Lina shook his head. "What? Isn't it a monster?" Long Fei said seriously, "No, you are an angel." "Angels?" Kai Lina recited the word, angel. This word was foreign to her, and she had never heard of it before. She felt the charm of the word. Her heart was somewhat moved. Long Fei said, "No one is more beautiful than you." Looking at the expression in Long Fei's eyes, Kai Lina felt a little dazed and intoxicated. But he woke up very quickly and said, "You should think about the matters in Princess Sand Moon. The wedding is in 3 days. You can't watch her marry a perverted gay man, right?" Air. Long Fei was startled but recovered his expression. "Don't worry, since he said that I am not fit to fight with him, then I will snatch this woman. Not only will I snatch her, I will trample her to death." Long Fei looked at the ferocious alien demons in the valley, and the corner of his mouth revealed an evil smile. Kai Lina said, "Just relying on these alien demons—" "The alien demons are indeed powerful, but the Meng family is very powerful. When that time comes, the powerhouse-s of many tribes in Magic Tribe will participate. Once they join forces to fight against them, your alien demon will very likely be stopped." Kai Lina said, "The peak of the elixir S was not weak. However, in front of the arrogant form state, the Mahayana realm, and even the powerhouse S of the Zhenwu realm, they were just dregs. Not to mention, this was the territory of the Magic Tribe. No matter what happened, how could he allow a human to do whatever he wanted?" Long Fei muttered, "You're right. Just these alien demons alone are still lacking. At least, it would be very difficult for these alien demons to injure Meng Qian. His cultivation is at least at arrogant form, but my power can't even shake him. When he thought about the battle between him and Meng Qian 2 days ago, the space between his eyebrows tightened. Meng Qian was very strong. If it was just based on strength alone, Long Fei was not his match. I need to think of a way to increase my strength a bit more. 3 days, right? I'll go all out. And then, Long Fei said, continue your scouting. Kai Lina nodded. With a flap of his wings, he instantly flew out. Long Fei moved and summoned his transformers, saying, guard this valley and do not let anyone near. Transformers cupped his fists. As you command. The Transformers was currently a heaven-rank demon beast, and ordinary magic tribe south could not get close to him at all. The alien demons he protected in the valley would not be discovered by anyone. Even if someone found him, he would be able to escape. After finishing all these, Long Fei walked into the valley. The idea moved and entered the Ming clan's imprint space. Phew! He let out a light breath. In 3 days, proficiency of the 100,000 points. Just thinking about it, Long Fei felt like he was going to puke. Cultivating a cultivation technique was even worse than eating. It lasted at least an instant, but the cultivation technique felt like it was being eaten nonstop. But no matter how bad the taste was, Long Fei had to endure it. Let's begin. Rotten Ghost Claw. Ding. Proficiency plus 100 points. Rotten Ghost Claw. Ding. Proficiency plus 100 points. Long Fei began to cultivate his Rotten Ghost Claw frantically because the only thing he could do now was to level up his skill and charge towards proficiency that had 800,000 in 3 days. And then summon the second-level Ghost King. Last time, when he used the Ghost Emperor to fight against the Sand Demon, it could be said that the Ghost Emperor's power was completely crushed. The second-level Ghost King was stronger. Furthermore, the Ghost Emperor gave Long Fei a familiar feeling, as if they had met somewhere before. It could have been in his sealed memories. It could have been an unknown memory, or he might have been overthinking it. Anyway, what he wanted now was the second-level Ghost King. Chapter 2449, Alien King. Chapter 2449, Alien King 3 days later. Meng City was bustling with noise and excitement. The various tribes of Magic Tribe all sent people to congratulate them. The rallying power of the 18 captains of Magic King was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, not only the Magic Tribe, but even the human race had come to congratulate them. It was also because of the Meng clan's power and influence. Ha ha ha. Look at the scene. Look at all these people congratulating us. They are all the patriarchs and elders of the Magic Tribe, and the patriarch was born because of the power of our Meng family. Our young master is one of the 18 captains of Magic King. How can the people that the Demon Emperor has set his eyes on be weak? Ha ha ha. In the future, with the refining techniques of the Sand Moon tribe, our Meng family will become the #1 clan in the Magic Tribe. Of course, Meng City will become the #1 city in the city. Ha ha! As people of Meng City, they felt proud to see the people walking on the streets. Furthermore, they were all powerhouse-s from other tribes. This was the influence of the Meng clan's power. It was also because of Meng Qian. The Meng clan was decorated with lanterns and festoons, exuding a joyous and jubilant feeling. Inside Meng Qian's courtyard, a disciple lowered his head and reported, "Young master, the people from the various great tribes have arrived. There are also several human countries' envoys, including Zhaoguo's envoys, the southern countries' envoys, and some sects' envoys, all came to congratulate you." Meng Qian was not interested in any of this. His wedding was just like that. No matter who it was, he would not be surprised. And laughed. Where is Princess Sand Moon? How have you been these past few days? Ever since he brought her back to the Meng family, he had never seen Yumin. For a man who had no interest in women, even if the most beautiful woman in history were to strip in front of him, there would still be no response from underneath him. Meng Qian did not have the slightest bit of interest in the Princess Sand Moon, so he was too lazy to look. To him, the Princess Sand Moon was just a pawn, his tool. The night of the wedding was also the day when he would receive the sacred fire. Once he controlled the sacred flame, the Princess Sand Moon would no longer be of any use to him. That disciple said, "Everything is normal. Princess Sand Moon has been staying in her courtyard, and she has not taken a step outside." Huh. Meng Qian was slightly taken aback. That is indeed outside of my expectations, but what else could she do? Humph, what Princess Sand Moon? A clan in such dire straits, and you still dare to call yourself a princess? Even she wouldn't feel embarrassed. In the Meng clan and the Meng city, it was useless even if the Princess Sand Moon resisted. And then, that disciple said, "I received news this morning that a patrol team found a super monster while patrolling in the southern mountains. Only the 8 patrolling disciples escaped." Not waiting for him to finish, Meng Qian raised his eyes, stared at the disciple's face, smiled slightly, and said, "Come over." That disciple secretly trembled as his expression changed. Meng Qian walked forward and grabbed his hand and said, "What are you nervous about?" That disciple lowered his head, not daring to even breathe. Meng Qian laughed lewdly. "Come, I'll show you another treasure today." Finished. He pulled the man into the room, and not long after, screams of pain rang out along with laughter. Princess Sand Moon's room. Red in color, red in color. 2 maids stood behind her. Princess Sand Moon looked at her reflection in the mirror. The corners of her eyes were slightly wet. A servant girl said, "Princess, many people are jealous of you. If you are able to marry our young master, your family, and you will be respected by everyone in the future." Another servant girl said, "That's right, 18 captains of Magic King. Our young master is the Demon Emperor's most valued disciple. Rumor has it in the outside world that our young master will receive the Demon Emperor's inheritance and become the next Demon Emperor. When that time comes, you will be the imperial concubine. You will be above everyone else. It's about time. We should be ready as well." The 2 maidservants began to urge him. Princess Sand Moon's tears silently fell down, and then she closed her eyes. Upon seeing this, the 2 maids immediately began dressing her up. Outside the room, Sand Moon people's face turned ugly. They were happy in the past and thought that the Meng family would become the strongest pillar of support for their Sand Moon tribe. However, they were thinking too much. They were well aware of what happened in Sunset Canyon. The Meng family was after Skyfire. They were unwilling. However, they were only refiners, and the martial arts training was very weak. Even if they were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. Why don't you become stronger? This way you can protect the princess. Moreover, they also knew that Princess Sand Moon could only marry Meng Qian in order to protect their lives. We're really useless. What's the use of the techniques that the master gave us? It would be better to give us the power of the martial arts training than to let the princess suffer a grievance. Sai, we should not have left the wilderness back then. I would rather fight against the sand demon now than let the princess suffer such grievances. The Meng clan doesn't have a single good thing. It would be great if that human lord was still here. He definitely wouldn't let the princess suffer such grievances. Yeah, as long as that human lord is here. Everyone began to Miss Long Fei. But this was the territory of the magic tribe. Without an invitation, no race would be able to take even half a step into this place. Otherwise, it would just be a dead end. Princess Sandmoon was also thinking about Long Fei. She was also regretting her decision of killing the sand demon. Why couldn't she just stay in the desert? Why did he have to fulfill this engagement? As she thought about it, 2 tears once again streaked down her face. At the mouth of the valley, Long Fei was mentally exhausted. It was as if 7 or 8 fox spirits had sucked up all of his yang energy. His eyes were dark and listless. His body did not have the slightest bit of strength as he held onto a tree while retching. It was very embarrassing. It was very hard. For 3 days and 3 nights, he had not heard of it for even a second. No one could feel that feeling. Every single time, he would need to use up his spiritual energy. Every single time, he would be like a bunch of flour, wheels lying on the ground. That kind of feeling. Long Fei was really afraid just thinking about it. When Transformers saw Long Fei walking out, he said, "Boss, how are you? How did this happen?" Long Fei waved his hand, signaling for him to stop asking, and asked, "What's the situation now?" Transformers laughed mischievously. "Everything is ready. A patrol came yesterday. 7 of them were killed by me, and 1 of them escaped with serious injuries." Long Fei nodded and asked, "Where's the alien demon?" Transformers gave another silly smile and said, "More than 80,000, and also, boss." Transformers scratched his head. Long Fei said, "Speak." Transformers said, "I got Alien Queen to help you get a super flamboyant alien king." Huh. Long Fei was startled. At this moment, it was an enormous beast, over 50 meters tall, black and shiny. It looked like it could eat people. The brutality of it was equally domineering. It was quite powerful. Long Fei muttered, "What a guy." It was also at this time Kai Lina landed and said, "The wedding has begun." Long Fei smirked. He flew into the sky and landed on top of the alien spirit demon's head and said, "Attack the city." Chapter 2450, Siege. Chapter 2450, Siege. A loud sound was heard. Immediately after, Transformers pounded his chest with both fists. With a movement of his head, he roared out, "Brothers, attack the city." Boom, boom, rumble. One voice after another, the alien demons that received Long Fei's summons woke up. They stood up from the ground, with over 80,000 of them packed together. That scene. The shock was incomparable. Long Fei stood on top of the alien king's head and looked at the more than 80,000 alien demons behind him. This kind of feeling suddenly exploded out. It used to be monsters' turn to attack my city. Now it's my turn to lead the monsters' turn to attack someone else's city. This kind of feeling. Ha ha ha. This is F** King Cool. Over 80,000 alien demons. This was even more awesome than any city siege battle with Demon Beast. Moreover, these Demon Beasts were all at the peak of the elixir's cultivation. They did not care about their lives and were not afraid of death. They are alien demons. The same was true for the death squads. Over 80,000 heads stood up and looked at Long Fei, who was standing above Alien King's head. Long Fei moved his left hand, summoned his Ju K sword, and activated Heaven Flame with his Qilin arm. Boom! His arms were burning, and the Ju K sword that he was connected to was also burning, turning into a sinister and terrifying fire sword. He waved the fire sword, pointed it at Meng City, and roared, "Charge! Crush them!" With the command given, tens of thousands of demons roared and madly rushed out of the valley like a black tide. Transformers took the lead. Thunderous, Kai Lina soared into the sky and disappeared in an instant. Rumble, 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 rumble. The sound of running footsteps shook the sky. and sand filled the sky. It was as if a black sandstorm had descended upon Meng's city. Meng clan. It was extremely lively as countless powerhouse congratulated him. Congratulations! Congratulations! At this time, a voice came from the entrance of the hall. The auspicious hour has arrived. The music started. There was a gong, a drum, and a trumpet. At one end of the hall, two female servants slowly walked out, supporting a woman dressed in red with a head full of red clouds. At the other end, Meng Qian walked out with his purple gold crown on his head and his red clothes making a sound as well. With every step he took, a shallow ripple appeared under his feet. This ripple was condensed from ice, and in the instant he lifted his foot, it disappeared. This required an incomparable amount of power to be able to control. Upon seeing this, many people's eyes flashed with a strange light of astonishment. As expected of the 18 captains of Magic King, they are indeed extraordinary. To have such strength before the age of 30, a monstrous genius who hasn't appeared in the Meng clan for 1,000 years, incredible, truly incredible. This Princess Sand Moon is truly blessed to be able to cultivate for 8 lifetimes. Being able to marry such a man is simply too blissful. I heard that the powerful light that exploded from the savage desert earlier was the return of the heavenly fire and submission. Could this Princess Sand Moon have already grasped the artifact forging holy fire left behind by our ancestors? If that's really the case, then she can be considered to be worthy of young Master Meng Qian. With the strength of the Meng family and the Sand Moon tribe's refining techniques, I'm afraid that the Meng family will rise quickly to become the #1 clan in Magic Tribe. Many people were secretly envious of him. At the same time, there were also people guessing what Princess Sand Moon looked like. Other than the Sand Moon people, there were very few people who had seen the Princess Sand Moon's appearance. At this moment, Meng Qian and Princess Sand Moon walked together, face to face. Meng Qian gently held Princess Sand Moon's hand. He felt disgusted, but on the surface, he still pretended to be happy. The two maidservants withdrew. An old host walked up and was about to speak. It was time. Someone from below jeered. It's all because Princess Sand Moon is Magic Tribe's #1 beauty. Is this for real? The women of the Sand Moon tribe wear veils every day. Can we see their true appearances today? Yeah. Let us witness the appearance of the Magic Tribe's #1 beauty. Lift her head. Bang! Bang! Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, many people in the yard started to heckle. The old host pressed down with both hands and said, "Don't make a ruckus. You have yet to bow to the heavens and earth, and cannot lift your heads. It is unlucky." Furthermore, the rules of the Sand Moon tribe states that all women have to wear a veil and will only take it off in front of their loved ones. The girls of Sand Moon tribe could not take off their veils in front of outsiders. This is the clan rule of the Sand Moon tribe. However, Meng Qian smirked and said, "Anyway, she is my woman, a member of my Meng family. There are not that many rules for people of my Meng family. Lady Yumin, what do you say?" Meng Qian laughed sinisterly, without waiting for Princess Sand Moon to speak. Suddenly, Meng Qian instantly lifted the veil over Princess Sand Moon's head and laughed loudly. "Take a look. What is the real #1 beauty in Magic Tribe?" Ha ha ha. On the other side, the Sand Moon people were filled with rage as their veins bulged. However, in front of them was the warrior of Meng clan. They could not move at all. The veil was lifted, revealing the peerless beauty of the Princess Sand Moon. Everyone present was dumbfounded. Even Meng Qian was slightly stunned by the sight, and he too froze in shock because it was too beautiful. Wow, she's so beautiful. It's too beautiful. as expected of the #1 beauty of the magic tribe. If I had such a wife, I could have cut my lifespan by 10 years. Beautiful, very beautiful. Moreover, Princess Sandmoon's eyes were filled with tears. His tear-stained eyes revealed a trace of pity and weakness, causing people to feel pity for him. Beautiful to the heart. Many men were gulping down their saliva. Meng Qian's gaze tensed up as he looked at the tears in Princess Sandmoon's eyes. Suddenly, a slap flew across his face. "Pa!" It was incomparably loud. Everyone in the courtyard instantly quieted down and became stupefied. The 5 finger marks could clearly be seen on Princess Sandmoon's face, and a bit of blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. Meng Qian shouted, "What are you crying for? Do you feel wronged marrying me? Do you think about that human trash in your heart? Don't think that I don't know. When we were in the desert, you already took off your veil and showed it to that trash. You still King have the face to cry in front of me?" Yi Zichen spoke fiercely. It was as though he had suddenly become a completely different person. He was angry. He felt as if he had received a powerful stimulus, and his heart surged with a perverted feeling. However, with that slap, not only did Princess Sandmoon hold back his tears, the pain in his eyes also disappeared, replaced with determination and numbness. She stared at Meng Qian. Meng Qian glared at him and said coldly, "Let's talk about your sore spot, right? What kind of clan rule of the Sandmoon tribe is this? Humph. I see that you have not only taken off your veil for that trash, but have also given him your body? You can tell with a glance that she's a bitch." Princess Sandmoon clenched his fists tightly, and his teeth clattered loudly. At this moment, a voice resounded in the hall. "Qian!" The corners of Meng Qian's eyes turned sinister. He snorted coldly and no longer said anything. In the main hall, in the courtyard, and in the quiet of the Meng clan, the sound of rumbling could be heard from off in the distance. One of the disciples anxiously ran in and said, "Patriarch, it's bad, it's bad. A large number of unknown demon beasts are rushing to Meng's city." Outside the city, the Transformers asked, "Boss, how do we get in?" Long Fei grinned and said, "I will kill my way in." Chapter 2451, The Great Killing Tank. Chapter 2451. The Great Killing Tank. They had never tried to attack a city before. In the past, it had always been guarding, but now it was leading 10,000 beasts to attack the city. You want to know how to get in? Of course, they had to kill their way in. Could it be that he would have to fight with someone outside the city for a few hundred rounds? A monster attacking a city needed to kill? An unscrupulous attack. Whoever blocked the attack would get killed. Standing on top of the tall alien king's head, Long Fei looked at the tall Meng city and waved his Juke sword. "Little ones, charge for me." As soon as he finished, roar! Transformers took the lead like a valiant general. With the support of his 4 limbs, his huge body jumped up heavily. Several hundred meters away, stones and rocks were thrown into the air as he landed. At the same time, he pushed up against the 4 pits at the same time, continuously jumping. In 2 breaths' time, they had reached the city gate. "He's here. He's here. Quick, inform the chief. Quick, quick. What exactly is this demon beast? I've never seen it before. Too much, too much. He's coming. Pay attention to the top of your head. Quick, release the smoke. Rumble." A gigantic black shadow fell down heavily, and the city wall immediately caved in. Warrior of Meng clan on top of the city wall screamed incessantly like the wailing of ghosts and the howling of wolves. But without waiting for them to get up from the ground, Transformers suddenly stood up. Its enormous body was like that of a giant. Those warrior of Meng clan trembled in fear. Their faces turned pale, and none of them dared to move a muscle. But Transformers did not hold back. His left and right fists were like hammers. Boom. As the punch landed, the man turned into minced meat. Boom. Another fist landed, and blood splattered everywhere, turning into a puddle of flesh. A massacre. Also at the same time, System Beep's continuously sounded out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Warrior of Meng Clan for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Warrior of Meng Clan for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value. The Transformers was Long Fei's war pet. Those he killed, all of their experience points belonged to Long Fei. Just as the Transformers was about to die, the Warrior of Meng Clan came over from both sides. Heavy crossbow, great axe hands, left and right bags, attack. They were not waiting for death to come. They were the magic tribe. They were just demon beast. No matter how strong they were, they would still do their best to resist. Then again, their cultivation levels were not low at all. However, the Transformers bird did not even bother to pay attention to them as it continued to crazily kill in the ruins. It was even roaring at the top of its lungs. Not enough to look at. He's too trashy. Bring all of them to me. He didn't even look at her. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the distance, hundreds of giant arrows, each with the thickness of an arm, pierced through the air. The giant arrows were covered in flames and flickered with spiritual light. Each of these arrows was extraordinary, carrying with them immense power. This arrow would probably be able to instantly kill Powerhouse, who was at the Elixir Realm. All of these huge arrows were shot towards Transformers. However, Transformers still didn't take a glance. At this moment, countless black figures shot out like lightning. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, the huge arrow that covered the sky suddenly disappeared, along with the huge arrow. Many warrior of Meng Clan rubbed their eyes. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? What's going on? What about heavy crossbows? What just happened? Just as they were wondering, a black shadow descended, bringing with it a huge arrow as it shot down. Bam! Bam! Bang! When the alien demons descended, they instantly snatched away all the arrows, and in that instant, they heavily fell back down as well. Scattered on both sides of the city walls, dozens of people were instantly killed. Hiss, 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 hiss. It let out a ferocious scream. Its long arms were filled with the giant mouth of the spurs, and it continuously spat out mucus. Long Fei said coldly, "Kill." Wallowa! Alien Goblin had activated a berserk mode of slaughter. This method of killing, no matter how strong you are, I don't care. In any case, I don't care. They are. Moreover, their appearances were ugly, and they had never appeared before. Warrior of Meng Clan had simply never seen this kind of demon beast, and was immediately afraid. The alien demons became even more joyous. Kill! Kill! Save me! Save me! Ah! Help! My hand! My hand! Screams could be heard from the city walls. On the tower, on the city wall. Seeing this scene, the forehead of a war general tightened. And then one of them said, "Elder, look. It's that human." Meng Ape also saw Long Fei. However, he did not understand. How could a human command so many demon beasts? Impossible. The man said, "As long as we kill him, These demon beasts will retreat like the tide. The corner of the eye of the ape turned sinister as its gaze swept across the group of Meng clan elites. Who will be going? A few seconds later, no one dared to make a sound. Humans were not afraid. But the alien king and the rest were afraid. The violent ape let out a heavy cold snort, and its eyes were filled with rage. A group of trash. And then the violent ape's fists sank. Buzz. A golden chain was summoned and wrapped around his body, and at the same time, it broke out of the door and flew out like a rocket towards Long Fei. Transformers raised his eyes. The corner of his mouth lifted, revealing a disdainful smile. You're courting death. Trash human, give me your life. His speed was extremely fast, like golden lightning striking over. Moreover, the golden chain that was in midair pierced towards the center of Long Fei's brows like a sharp needle. At the front of the chain, the strong wind raged, and the strength stripes could be seen clearly. The piercing sound was especially ear-piercing. The aura of the spirit refinement realm rushed towards Long Fei like a violent tide, extremely ferocious. Peak of the spirit refinement realm? Long Fei's lips curled into a cold smile. Alien raised his eyes slightly as his forelimbs moved, showing the form of an attack. Long Fei slightly said, "You just stand there and don't move." "Turn around." The Ju Kei sword in Long Fei's hand moved, and with a movement of its body, it suddenly disappeared. The next second, they hovered in midair, a sword in one hand. And it was also at this moment that the pressure from the arrogant form state came crushing down like thunder. You dare to act so arrogantly in front of me, even at the spirit refinement realm? Human trash. Then what the F*** are you? As soon as he finished, the great Ravager fire sword slashed down in anger. A fiery sword beam came down from the sky. It stretched out for hundreds of meters and cut the Meng ape into two halves. Not only that, the wall behind him was divided into two. The gate of the city wall. Collapse. Chapter 2452. Meng Family Dispatching. Chapter 2452. Meng Family Dispatching under the arrogant form. Everything was useless. Ju Kei sword. Heaven flame. Destruction. Sword energy. When all these energies combined, that was an instant kill. The divine peak realm of the Meng ape, but so what? A one-shot. Moreover, in this instant, even the city gate was split in half. The sword chi of fire was abnormally fierce, and the tower above the city gate also collapsed. Shwa! Long Fei landed back on top of the alien king's head, smiled slightly, and said, "Charge!" The surrounding tens of thousands of alien demons started to get excited and rushed in crazily. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Ape for obtaining 35,000 EXP, 3,400 true chi points, and 2 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining gold-ranked heaven-ranked magic strap. Trash. I've exchanged. Long Fei didn't even spare him another glance. To him, now that he was not a holy artifact, there was no need to look. What did he want? Experience. Take this city. He might even be able to level up once in a while. He did not know how many tribes existed in the Magic Tribe, but in the 18 captains of Magic King, every disciple has a big city just by overturning these big cities. Can he at least level up another 10 levels? Little ones, wake up. The moment Long Fei made a move, the alien demons became even more crazed. Long Fei looked at the wall that was smashed into pieces by the Transformers and the signs of a complete mess. Long Fei grinned. Are you not worthy to fight with me? I don't have the qualifications to fight with you for a woman. Who has more cards now? Now, Lousy will let you know what qualifications are. Just thinking about it infuriated him. Not worthy, not qualified. Then let him know what it meant to be worthy and what it meant to be qualified. Meng clan. The wedding was interrupted. The elders of the Meng clan walked out in unison. A disciple ran in anxiously and reporting Elder Meng Ape was killed by that human's sword. Human? What human? Didn't they say that tens of thousands of demon beasts are attacking the city? Explain it to me clearly. A few elders asked. Meng Qian squinted his eyes, instantly releasing the killing intent. He stared at Princess Sandmoon and laughed sinisterly. He saved you. Are you happy now? The look in Princess Sandmoon's eyes changed. He didn't know why. Her heart suddenly felt warm, as if a warm current had flowed into her ice-cold heart. It made her feel incomparably comfortable. The scene of Long Fei instantly appeared in his mind. Seeing the change in Princess Sandmoon's expression, that look with a hint of love made Meng Qian even more unhappy, and he slapped her again. Bitch! Pa! Another heavy slap. Princess Sandmoon could not stand steadily, and almost fell to the ground, blood trickling from the corner of her mouth, but her eyes were staring straight at Meng Qian. Meng Qian sneered. Are you very happy? Don't worry. You won't be able to be happy in a moment, because he's going to die soon. What? Suddenly, Meng Qian let out a mad laugh. Is a lowly trash like you worthy to fight with me for a woman? Even if I don't want it, he still doesn't have the qualifications. As soon as he finished, Meng Qian suddenly grabbed Princess Sandmoon by the neck and suddenly lifted him up as he laughed sinisterly. You mean I want you to witness with your own eyes how I killed him? Ha ha ha. Whoosh. Meng Qian disappeared in place, grabbed Princess Sandmoon's neck, and flew out. Meng Zhan immediately walked out and said, Elders, clan leaders, now that the humans are invading, we, the magic tribe, must work together to resist. Not waiting for him to finish, the steward of the Sand Moon tribe shouted, He is here to save the princess. It is your Meng family that is treacherous and treacherous. He's here to deal with your Meng clan. Meng Zhan, our patriarch trusted you so much, yet you dare to deceive us like this. What do you think our Sand Moon tribe is? Our princess has already merged with the ancient weapon refining sacred flame. She can now refine a holy artifact. There isn't a single good thing in the Meng clan. We trust you that much. For a moment, the Sand Moon people rapidly roared. The whole yard began to discuss with each other. Ancient sacred flame. Sand Moon tribe is a clan of ancient artificers. I heard that it was because of the descent of the heavenly fire that they slowly walked into the valley. However, that heavenly fire actually possessed the power to refine holy artifact. Patriarch Meng, is what Sand Moon people said true? Is your Meng family really refining the sacred flame for the Sand Moon tribe? Did you think about it when you and the Sand Moon tribe were engaged? All of them were elders of other tribes in the magic tribe, or their clan leaders. The Meng clan, which possessed the 18 captains of Magic King, was already very strong. If they could refine holy flames and continuously refine high-grade divine weapons, then the Meng clan would become even more powerful. No one wanted the Meng clan to be too powerful. Meng Zhan's eyes turned sinister as he roared, What nonsense! My Meng clan would never do something like that. Patriarch Meng, I heard that your son has a dragon yang mania. Is that true? Your son likes men. How can he marry a woman? Patriarch Meng, is this because of the Sand Moon tribe's sacred flame? No one listened to Meng Zhan's explanation. Refining sacred flame. Who doesn't want it? Let alone the families of the 18 captains of Magic King. Even the demon emperor himself would want to obtain it. But everyone knew clearly that only the ancient refiner tribes, Sand Moon Tribe, could wield the sacred flame and refine it into a holy artifact. The best way to control the sacred flame was to control the Sand Moon Tribe. His son is a Longyang fanatic. In truth, he Mengjian is one of them. Huh. This is big news. Patriarch Meng, is this the case? Patriarch Meng, don't go. Don't go. Mengjian was unable to block it. He wanted to be angry, but not now. In his heart, he wished he could crush that troublesome human into powder. Mengjian let out a loud shout and said, angrily, "Disciples of the Meng clan, listen up. Follow me." Boom. A huge wave of energy rushed over and immediately engulfed the entire courtyard. Everyone was crushed by this energy. Their faces were red, and they could not say a single word. And then Mengjian stared at Sand Moon people and said, "Lock them up for me. No one is allowed to release them without my order." Roar. Mengjian moved his idea, and a peak heaven stage beast came out from the beast space. An extremely ferocious savage, flood dragon, let out a roar. It was like a dragon's roar. Mengjian took a step forward. The flood dragon soared into the air and instantly rushed out. It was also at this moment all of warrior of Meng clan's summoned beasts followed behind Mengjian flood dragon and rushed out. Chapter 2453, Vajra Tyrant Body. Chapter 2453. Vajra Tyrant Body, the demon beast's attack, had a special characteristic that once the city was destroyed, it would become unstoppable. After all, Meng City was only a small city. No matter how strong the wall was, it could not withstand the perverted destruction caused by the Transformers. With Long Fei's sword breaking the door, 80,000 alien demons charged into Meng City like a hot knife through butter. At the same time, a portion of the alien demons that were rushing into the city began looting them. Kill, burn, snatch. Anyone who resisted would be killed. Any property owned by the Meng clan would be burned. Anyone who owned a Meng clan store would be robbed. As for the ordinary people, they were not harmed at all by Long Fei's orders. Magic Tribe also wanted ordinary people. If these people wanted money, then money. If they wanted experience, then killing them would be a waste of time. Furthermore, Long Fei was not a homicidal maniac. He wouldn't kill these ordinary people who had nothing on him just because he leveled up. The other portion of the alien demons quickly took over the high ground of Meng City. He quickly seized the high ground of the city wall. A portion of the alien demons lined up in 2 rows neatly, just like an army staring straight ahead, waiting for their leader's inspection. Bam! 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 The alien king walked in step by step from outside the city. Long Fei stood on the head of the alien king and swept his eyes over the place. At the same time, the system beep in his mind never stopped thinking about it. Ding, 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 ding. Although there weren't many experience points, there were a lot of monsters, so the increase in experience points was still very impressive. At least, Long Fei was satisfied. Long Fei walked into Meng City and said with a smile, "So it was so cool when monsters attacked the city? Ha ha ha. As long as I have enough power, I can make the alien queen create an endless army for me at that time and lead this group of alien demons to sweep across the entire continent. Zhou family army? The capital. Crush them all." Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. He was glad that he made such a choice. This alien queen was simply a military factory. He was too awesome. Transformers walked over and said, "Boss, these warrior of Meng clan are not giving us any pointers, killing them all in one go and making them piss their pants." How boring. Long Fei rolled her eyes at him. How many of them can withstand your destruction? Transformers was now a heaven-rank peak demon beast. Unless it was a powerhouse at the peak of the refinement realm or arrogant form state, no one could stop him. In addition, his entire body was clad in golden armor, his defense heaven-defying. At this moment, boom, a golden-purple figure descended from the sky. Kai Lina's brows tightened and immediately said, "They're here." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Transformers hugged his fists and said, "I'm finally here. I'm already displeased in the desert. What is it? You dare to challenge my boss?" *CK, his grandmother. Bam! Transformers' forelimbs sank, and he fiercely leaped. Walala! A 4-story building collapsed into ruins in an instant. Another building exploded 100 meters away, scattering dust everywhere. In the blink of an eye, the Transformers charged forward. In the distance, Meng Qian flew over quickly, seeing an enormous demon beast, and even a 2-headed demon beast rushing towards him. The corner of his mouth curled up as he sneered. "This fellow is that trash human war pet, right? Roar!" Transformers roared, "Cripple your ancestors." His right fist sank. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A burst of golden light shot out. A dazzling golden light shone out from the golden glove, as a dense energy was continuously released. This was all pure physical strength. King Kong powerful fist. He bellowed. The force squeezed the surrounding space and caused it to explode, causing it to distort. Meng Qian sneered. He did not even move, and raised his left hand, directly blocking the Princess Sand Moon in front of him, and laughed sinisterly. Come hit me." He had grabbed Princess Sand Moon by the throat, and his face was pale. It was extremely uncomfortable. Seeing Transformers' fist approach, she said with difficulty, "Don't worry about me, kill him. Kill him, kill him." Meng Qian abnormally laughed out loud and said, Come and kill me, come." Transformers suddenly saw Princess Sand Moon blocking his way. His face tightened as he roared, "Despicable and shameless." After forcefully retracting his strength, Transformers' body suddenly sank down and landed heavily on the ground. His feet rolled up countless of bluestone blocks on the street, as well as 2 drag marks that were 100 meters long. King Kong powerful fist rumbled in another place. Rumble! 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 The 100-meter-tall building instantly crumbled and turned into dust. Poochie! Transformers spat out a mouthful of blood. He was unable to release his powerful strength, which caused a backlash within his body. It was extremely uncomfortable. Meng Qian laughed out wildly. "Ha ha ha! Did you women see that? I say, that brat likes you, right? Even his war pet would not dare to lay a hand on you. And you gave your body to him? You bitch!" Princess Sand Moon stared at Meng Qian fiercely and said, "You damned pervert." The word pervert seemed to shock Meng Qian as his eyes turned sinister, and a cold aura burst out from his body. Princess Sand Moon's neck was immediately covered in a layer of frost. It was incomparably cold. It was also at this time. The Transformers seized the opportunity and rushed out from the ground into the air once again. King Kong! Meng Qian's eyeballs moved, and his body suddenly disappeared in midair. "You think you're powerful?" You beast scrammed to the side. Before he could finish, in an instant, before Transformers could release the King Kong powerful fist, Meng Qian had already appeared in front of him. With his left hand, he pressed a palm against Transformers' chest. The chilling energy on his body exploded forth. Rumble! The power behind the attack was like a bomb that had exploded. The Transformers did not have any time to react, and was directly sent flying. Walala! Rumble! The Transformers installed the 1,000-meter-long building in a straight line, causing all the buildings to collapse. Finally, Transformers collided heavily against the city wall before stopping. He spat out a large mouthful of black blood. His pupils were glazed over, and the golden armor on his chest was covered in a thick layer of ice. The defense of his golden armor and flesh seemed to have been frozen in an instant, and did not have the slightest effect. Wow, Walala! Another mouthful of black blood spurted out. Transformers punched out, supporting himself on the ground. His huge body stood up once again, but this time he staggered a few times and then fell back to the ground. Meng Qian's palm strike had directly severely injured him. This power, savage beyond compare. Transformers looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, so powerful. This guy is so powerful, too impressive." He grinned. At the same time, he raised his head and swallowed a few pills. Boom! Transformers' body fiercely exploded. All the bones in his body exploded with sounds, and the condensed ice in his chest instantly ruptured. Like a demon beast in a state of blood anger, his eyes turned malevolent. Vajra tyrant body. Chapter 2454. Kai Lina's new skill. Chapter 2454. Kai Lina's new skill, the strength of the Transformers, was increasing exponentially. His aura was no longer at the peak of the heaven stage. It had already stepped into the divine level. The aura of power radiating from his body immediately combusted, burning like a flame. With a furious roar, he stood up in an instant and clenched his fists. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Cluck, cluck, cluck. All the joints in his body were popping. His eyes were crimson red. The forehead stared. Boom! The golden armor on his body trembled. In that instant, shwa! The wall behind Transformers crumbled, and dust flew everywhere. But the Transformers herself could not be seen. The next second, Transformers landed in front of Meng Qian, looked down from above, and rolled down from midair, while roaring, "You dare to look down on my big brother? Who do you think you are? Stealing women from my boss. Who do you think you are? You say that my boss is not qualified. Who do you think you are?" He was enraged. Meng Qian's gaze darkened. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched. He did not expect the Transformers' strength to suddenly multiply. The power of the heaven stage immediately changed to the power of a divine-level demon beast. This change was a bit sudden. Not just Meng Qian. Even Long Fei himself did not expect this. Vajra tyrant body? On the other hand, Kai Lina said softly, "Kong Kim is cultivating with all his might. He is probably even crazier than you are. Do you think that the god powder that I swallowed last time was as simple as just breaking through to the next realm? Do you think that you only mutated and grew 2 heads to scare people?" Long Fei was speechless and did not know what to say. He did not pay too much attention to the Transformers, but he knew that the Transformers wanted to break through and become stronger. It was just that he did not expect that in a few short months he had gone from a level 9 demon beast to a mighty great King Kong. And then Long Fei looked at Kai Lina and said, "You also consumed the god powder, so do you also have some sort of power that I don't know about?" Kai Lina smiled and did not say a word. At this time, in the distance, the Transformers didn't even give Meng Qian the time to block the Princess Sand Moon in front of him as his fist directly landed on Meng Qian's face. Transformers' fist was much bigger than a person's fist. The power of air piercing. If it was a normal person, he would have been beheaded and killed instantly. However, Meng Qian's cultivation was not ordinary. Transformers' punch was indeed ruthless, but it did not hit Meng Qian's health point by much. However, Meng Qian was flung out. Transformers pushed himself up. Its huge body was even more nimble than a monkey's. Not waiting for Meng Qian to land on the ground, its two fists smashed towards him like a violent storm. Bang, 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 bang. A burst of lightning-fast attacks. Meng Qian's body crazily swayed, his body caved in, and blood crazily sprayed from his mouth. There was a grim sneer on his face. Even when he was spitting blood, he was still laughing maniacally. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Madman, abnormal lunatic. Transformers' heart sank slightly. Meng Qian laughed sinisterly. Do you only have that much power? What a piece of trash. Even the strength needed to tickle me is not enough, just a little more. Slightly more ruthless. Not at all. From the start, Meng Qian could still vomit blood, but now he felt no pain at all. Even Transformers felt it. This Meng Qian was too weird, too abnormal. Transformers' eyes turned sinister. His fists became heavy, King Kong powerful fist. Both fists moved at the same time. Two King Kong powerful fists exploded under the state of Vajra tyrant body, and their power was several times stronger than before. At this moment, Meng Qian's body suddenly stopped. When the two King Kong powerful fists struck each other, their powers exploded, causing numerous energy shock waves. The shock waves caused by the explosions in the air. Meng Qian stood in place without moving an inch, as if he didn't feel the slightest amount of pain. Indeed, the harm that the two energies of the King Kong powerful fist had done to him, he did not use any damage. Long phase gaze tensed up, and at this moment he shouted, "Not good!" At this moment, Kai Lina's figure suddenly disappeared. Shwa! Meng Qian laughed sinisterly. TSK, TSK, TSK. So weak, didn't your good-for-nothing master teach you how to act ruthlessly? Only trash like you dares to shout in front of me? Go to hell. He let out a ferocious roar. Meng Qian flipped his left hand. Wham! The water in the surrounding air was suddenly drained, forming a huge ice sword in his hand. Moreover, within a radius of 10 meters around him, this was his domain. Ice and amp, cold field. The ice sword condensed and pierced forward. It directly pierced toward the location of the Transformers' heart. At this moment, the golden armor on Transformers' body shook and released a strong defense. At the same time, he pushed his legs up, wanting to jump high. But, strange, his body seemed to have been frozen. He couldn't move his entire body. It was extremely uncomfortable. Transformers frowned. Meng Qian laughed sinisterly. You can't move, right? Ha ha ha. Don't you like it? Didn't you want to show your might for your good-for-nothing master? Didn't you say that I don't have the qualifications to fight with your master for a woman? Call again now. Hit me again. Move again. The more he spoke, the cold energy on Meng Qian's body surged out even more, while Transformers' entire body became even more immobilized. All of the hair on his body was congealed, and a thick layer of frost appeared on his body. That was the worst part. Veins, blood vein, frozen. To the demon beast, their powers were frozen. Not only that, at this moment, Transformers' mind was about to be frozen, and his brain was slowly freezing as well. As long as Meng Qian's sword descended, his body would shatter into ice crystal powder. Meng Qian said sinisterly, "You're not calling me anymore? Then go to hell." The condensed ice sword pierced down. In an instant, Transformers' body froze. Any force could shatter him. His heart tightened as he thought to himself, "Boss, I'm sorry." At this moment, just as the ice sword was about to stab onto Transformers' body, a purple figure fell. Boom! Kai Lina descended. Meng Qian's eyes turned sinister. Another one came to throw his life away. But, without waiting for him to finish speaking, Kai Lina spread out his wings and instantly protected the Transformers. Ha ha ha. Defense. Scum in front of me. Meng Qian laughed madly. He did not put Kai Lina in his eyes at all, as any form of defense was just a decoration in front of his ice attribute power. However, Kai Lina smiled slightly. The next second, disappeared, vanished. Chapter 2455, Demon Emperor Ascends. Chapter 2455, Demon Emperor Ascends. There was no sign. There were no energy waves. Just for an instant, in the blink of an eye, he had vanished for no apparent reason. Meng Qian's long sword pierced through empty space. More importantly, when he disappeared from the ice and amp cold field, he could not feel any trace of movement at all. It was completely unexpected, and he was completely unprepared. Meng Qian's heart sank. The faces of those people from the Meng clan who had rushed over changed drastically. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Never seen it before. He disappeared so suddenly. Even those with higher cultivation than him couldn't escape the control of young Master's ice and amp, cold field. What happened just now? Ice and amp, cold field. It was Meng Qian's strongest move. This move. Even people with a cultivation higher than him wouldn't be able to escape. But he didn't even know how he did it. This made Meng Qian very unhappy. Long Fei's gaze darkened. Although he did not know how Kai Lina had done it, but he could immediately tell what this cultivation method was. Teleportation, spatial cultivation method. Moreover, it can be used in battle. Awesome! Could this be the power that came out of Kai Lina's cultivation after consuming the god powder? Indeed, it was as Long Fei expected. After a few seconds, boom! Kai Lina brought Transformers to stand beside Long Fei. Transformers also quickly recovered. He was also confused as he was suddenly brought into a space that looked like a space tunnel. When he landed, he looked at Kai Lina and immediately said, "Thank you." In Transformers' eyes, there was an additional hint of fear and respect for Kai Lina. Right now, he was very worried that Kai Lina would throw him into that space tunnel. Long Fei looked at Kai Lina and said, "A spatial movement technique? As long as I'm wrapped by your wings, I can teleport?" Kai Lina looked at Long Fei with some shock and said, "More or less, but I have yet to completely master it and am unable to use it in a short period of time." Long Fei was a little envious and said, "Amazing!" He still had a god powder and he really wanted to take it, but after all, he was not a demon beast, and he was not from a different race. Also, regardless of whether it was the spirit grass that refined this pellet or the energy contained within, it was all much stronger than the Zhanwu continent. If he could decompose one or two types of healing pellets, then it might be able to help him refine the antidote for the limitless burning sword. Long Fei was always concerned about this matter. "It's out. Why did you go there?" "Oh my God, he directly destroyed the Princess Ice and Amp, Cold Field. This is too unbelievable. Ha ha ha." Because Ice and Amp, Cold Field Meng Qian had become the 18th disciple of the Demon Emperor, but now, Ice and Amp, Cold Field was actually broken. It's nothing more than that. Meng Qian's face was extremely ugly. His teeth were grinding so hard that crackling sounds could be heard. Looking at Long Fei, the killing intent in his eyes was extremely strong. Just as he was about to make his move, his father Meng Zhan walked up to him, along with the elders of the Meng family and the quickly gathering warrior of Meng clan. As Meng Zhan asked, "Who are you? Why must you make life difficult for the Meng clan?" "Whoever it is, we have to find out." Moreover, Meng Zhan looked at the surrounding alien demons. These demon beasts were powerful if they were to fight, his Meng family would not benefit much. Even if they managed to block it, the power of the Meng clan would be greatly reduced. The gains didn't make up for the losses. Smart people would always maximize the benefits and minimize the losses. No matter who Long Fei was, if they could stop it, the Meng family's vitality would not be harmed. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "I am her bodyguard. Why do you have to go against your Meng clan?" "It's very simple. Because I'm here to steal the bride today." Hee hee. Princess San Moon was slightly stunned. Meng Qian's expression became even uglier, and once again icier than before. "Bitch!" Meng Zhan was shocked. "Snatch the bride. Do you know that our Meng family is a magic tribe? Do you know that my son is from 18 captains of Magic King? If you come to Meng City to steal the bride, do you think of the consequences? Even your human royal family, the Zhao family, would not dare to act so atrociously in Meng City. You have to consider the consequences. If you leave Meng City now, I can let bygones be bygones." Meng Qian's expression changed. Long Fei laughed. "It's fine if you want me to leave, but leave my woman to me." Meng Qian shouted sinisterly, "You're courting death." Long Fei laughed. "Then let's see who's courting death." The idea moved. In that instant, the surrounding alien monsters all rushed out, pouncing towards the warrior of Meng Clan S, frantically killing them. Warrior of Meng Clan was also doing his best to kill the alien demons. There were simply too many alien demons, and they were not afraid of death, nor did they care about the consequences. They only listened to Long Fei's orders, and if he did not say stop, they would definitely not stop. Ah! 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 Help! Help! Miserable screams rang out nonstop. Long Fei laughed. "Who wants to die?" He 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 he. Meng Qian's eyes were bloodshot and filled with extreme anger. The corners of Meng Zhan's eyes turned sinister as he said lightly, "Qianer, hand Princess Sand Moon over to him." Meng Qian glared at him and bellowed, "No, he's my woman, and even if I mess with him, she's still my woman. You want to steal from me? Trash human, come snatch if you have the guts." While they were talking, boom, the aura on his right hand immediately turned into ice and sealed half of Princess Sand Moon's body. Meng Qian said in a crazed excitement, Come and snatch it." Ha! She looked at Long Fei and did not say a word. There was no cry of pain. She didn't want Long Fei to die for her. Long Fei's eyes tensed up, his fists clenched tightly inside his sleeves. "Can you take me there?" Long Fei asked in a low voice. Kai Lina knew that the situation was critical right now and said, "I will do my best." She had just used spatial movement technique, so she couldn't use it again for a short period of time. She also wanted to save Princess San Moon, so she could only grit her teeth and fight. "All right," Long Fei said, "send me over." Kai Lina's wings moved slightly. At this moment, Meng Qian laughed sinisterly again and said, "You want to come over?" "Ha ha ha. Come on." Buzz, even more ice-cold energy, had frozen the area below Princess San Moon's neck. With the slightest bit of strength, her body would completely shatter. In that situation, even if Long Fei appeared in front of Meng Qian, he would not be able to save Princess San Moon. Long Fei was infuriated. "Ha ha ha." Meng Qian laughed excitedly and said, "Even if I die, I won't let a useless human like you obtain her. Ha ha." Just as he was about to kill Princess San Moon, Long Fei moved. She wanted to summon the Ghost Emperor. Using the Ghost Emperor's sudden attack, he instantly killed Meng Qian. However, at this moment, the sky suddenly darkened. Meng Qian's body was instantly crushed by a powerful force. A purple-robed figure floated in the air and coldly said, "Stop." Everyone looked up. All of them kneeled down in unison. Demon Emperor. The 5th chapter. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2456. Demon Emperor makes his move. Chapter 2456. Demon Emperor makes his move. 10,000 people knelt down and kowtowed. Meng Qian could not move. It was as if every part of his body was being covered by a powerful force from the seal, and even the ice on Princess Sand Moon's body was quickly melting. Long Fei looked up to the sky. He didn't know why. With just a glance, his heart was already in turmoil, and an unstoppable aura assaulted his mind. Powerhouse. Super powerhouse. The kind of powerhouse who stood at the peak of the continent. It could be said that the aura on his body, it was an existence that was even more powerful and vigorous than the aura on Master Iyorong's body. It was as if he was an incomparably huge ocean, an existence that was unshakable. This was a superior. Kai Lina's face darkened. She immediately took a step towards Long Fei, maintaining a distance that allowed her to move through space. Her heart was pounding. Could she protect Long Fei and bring Long Fei out of here before the Demon Emperor makes his move? Transformers also slightly moved. He also felt the formidable aura, strength, and unshakable strength of the Demon Emperor's body. However, he knew what he had to do. No matter how strong the Demon Emperor was, once he attacked, he had to protect his boss no matter what. Kai Lina slightly said, "This person is very strong." Transformers' eyes darkened as he started to gather his strength secretly. He tensed up, and his body went into a state of extreme preparation. Demon Emperor. Lord Demon Emperor. Long live the Demon Emperor. Everyone paid their respects and cheered at the same time. Meng Qian's face was extremely ugly, but at this moment he kneeled down as well and said with a heavy voice, "We pay our respects to the Demon Emperor." The Demon Emperor descended. Boom! A light hum sounded, and then he looked at Long Fei and said indifferently, "Meng Qian is the disciple of the Demon Emperor. Snatch the marriage. So many people had died Transformers' in Meng City, body, and now that the Demon Emperor has appeared, Kai Lina immediately said possibly in a low survive? Voice, "Later on, I will use my all his strength. He's come to spatial teleportation technique. Isn't it great to fight for it recklessly? Now? I can't guarantee you how far I can move either. Many people I will do everything I can." A pleased Demon and Emperor, cold smile hung on Meng Qian's face. Kai Lina and Transformers could only fight to the sinisterly to protect. Just watch, Long Fei. He's about to die. However, at this moment, stealing a woman, Long Fei took a step forward. Is he even worthy? And said he was extremely pleased with Meng Qian walked forward with the Demon Emperor by his side and said, "Let my Lord Long Fei. I wonder what power the old monster of the Zhao family, so many demon beasts to attack our Meng City, did not dare and to cause so many people's death. The Demon Emperor swept his eyes over them. The humans are provoking the surrounding alien demons were baring their Lord Demon Emperor and brandishing humans their claws, are far too greedy, frantically struggling. A mere because human dares the moment the Demon Emperor fell in our the alien demons were forcefully suppressed by a force we could not let him go. Furthermore, Elder Meng with their dry nature, the surrounding people even if they were stomped in their hearts, They were frantically struggling. Brat is finished. The demon emperor looked at Long Fei again. Brat, you came to Magic Tribe to steal the bride? You sure are bold. At this moment, Transformers and Kai Lina were extremely tense, like a bowstring filled with profound energy. They could collapse at any time, and they could shoot arrows at any time as well. However, Long Fei, maintained his composure because a crazy, perverted idea began to form in his mind. If he could defeat the Demon Emperor, then how much experience would he have? Can you at least level up a few levels? Wow, he was a madman who went crazy whenever he saw a boss-level powerhouse. However, Long Fei had this thought. He did not dare take the initiative to attack. He did not know the true power of the Demon Emperor, so if it exceeded the limits of what he could endure, then he would just jump. Long Fei said, "Generally speaking, he is third in the world. How can I let a woman I like marry someone else? And she's even married to a gay man with a long-yang obsession." As soon as he finished, Meng Qian's face suddenly changed, his teeth chattering loudly. He stared straight at Long Fei with killing intent burning in his eyes, and said madly, "Say that again." Long Fei laughed. "You fellow with the dragon young fetish, did you hear me clearly?" "No, the gay man with the dragon young mania. Do you hear me now?" Long Fei repeated herself again and again as he said disdainfully, "You bastard, there really are people like you in every world. Are you trying to attack me, or are you going to suffer? From that girl's look, you must be enduring it, for your chrysanthemum must have turned into a sunflower, right?" Ah. Meng Qian went crazy. The cold Yin aura on his body immediately rushed out crazily and shouted, "I'm going to kill you." His body charged forward. Buzz. Before he could rush forward, he was immediately blocked by a huge force. "I can't get out." The power of the Demon Emperor. The Demon Emperor didn't do anything. He only controlled his aura to form a barrier, instantly blocking Meng Qian's attack, who was at the peak of the arrogant form. This power, the power of the true martial great emperor's boundary, was too strong. Long Fei was shocked. It's beyond imagination. Second-level Ghost King. Long Fei's confidence wavered a little. He had originally wanted to use the second-level Ghost King to fight against the Demon Emperor, but now it seemed that he might not be his opponent. If the second-level Ghost King was not his opponent, then he could only use one move, Underworld Fire. However, he still could not control the Underworld Fire at all, and had not even cultivated to the edge of the Underworld Fire. Long Fei's mind shrunk, and he thought to himself, "The Emperor Zhenwu's realm is much stronger than what I imagined." Meng Qian was blocked, and he looked like a wild beast going mad. The constant attacks. However, the Demon Emperor did not spare him another glance. He looked at Long Fei and said, "You're here to snatch the bride? Stealing my disciple's blood? With your cultivation at the first stage of arrogant form? With this war beast of heaven stage by your side? Or is it someone who knows a bit about spatial teleportation? Or is it your golden protector, level demon beast?" While he was speaking, the alien demons let out deep growls. The alien king roared even more ferociously, with 70 to 80,000 heads of alien demons going crazy. But in that instant, the Demon Emperor's gaze swept across the surrounding alien demons. His eyes narrowed slightly, and a bright light flashed. At this moment, rumble, 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 Meng City, all the alien demons exploded and died in an instant. Chapter 2457, Sudden Transformation. Chapter 2457, Sudden Transformation. Bang. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Explosions sounded one after another. Balls of blood, mist shot into the air like fireworks. 80,000 alien demons. In an instant, all of them were instantly killed. In addition, there was not even a corpse left. All of them had turned into blood mist and powder. The entire Meng city was covered in a bloody mist. It was eerie and terrifying, like a bloody purgatory. Everyone present was stunned. All of them looked at the sky in shock, all of them trembling in their hearts. Meng Zhan, Meng Qian, all of the surrounding powerhouse, all of them were trembling at this moment. Their hearts seemed to have stopped beating as they were crushed to the point that they couldn't move at all. An unspeakable pain. Long Fei's pupils tightened. He did not move his body at all, not because he did not want to, but because he could not move even if he tried his best. Although this power wasn't released at all, at this moment, that kind of scene where he could instantly kill 80,000 alien demons in one glance, that kind of visual impact made him unable to breathe. Strong. It was not an ordinary type of power. Strong to the point of exploding on the surface. Demon Emperor. Too damn powerful. Even Long Fei felt that the power that he was using was even stronger than the power that Sea King was using. Immovable. It was the same for Kai Lina in the Transformers. Completely crushed and firmly stepped on the ground, completely unable to move. This feeling was too unbearable. The blood mist floated down from the sky. All of their bodies were dyed with the blood of the alien demons, and only the Demon Emperor was left. There was not a single trace of blood in the sky above his head. Indifference. There was nothing in his eyes. The Demon Emperor faintly said, "Just based on these?" Her voice was calm, but to Long Fei, it was like a bolt of lightning had struck his body. Long Fei wanted to snatch the marriage away after exhausting the power in his body. Arrogant, only and then savage, did Long Fei make this was courting death. And he said, "Transformers, why isn't it and Kai Lina the also stepped forward slightly. I will definitely get married in one fell swoop." They were not surprised by what Long Fei when his voice fell. They were also well prepared. Of consciousness that seemed like it was about to explode. With Long enormous waves were sent out in waves. Even at this moment, the Demon Emperor had the impulse to release the laughter was somewhat baffling because in that pressure he was being pressed on was too unbearable, and the Demon Emperor stared at Long Fei. This wasn't the pressure of the Demon Emperor. Seems like you're really not afraid of death for a woman. An aura, Long Fei said. As soon as Long Fei finished his sentence, snatch it. The surrounding people, as if he was very satisfied with Long Fei's answer. He's really courting death. He turned around to Princess San Moon and said, "Even dare, eldest niece, to steal the bride in front of the Demon Emperor towards you. This kid must be crazy. A man who can entrust his life to us. Didn't they say that humans are cowards?" The plot suddenly changed. Why is this kid not afraid of death at all? And their minds were a little dazed. Too strong. At the same time. What the hell? Long Fei was also surprised. The aura of the Demon Emperor surrounding him suddenly disappeared, and he regained his freedom. Looking at the Demon Emperor's proud expression, he was a little stunned. "Eldest niece, what's the situation?" Transformers said in a low voice, "Princess San Moon is his niece, so isn't that calling him uncle?" Kai Lina immediately said, "He seems to have his eyes on you." What? Long Fei was still not used to it. He was here to steal the bride. Why did he set his eyes on him? Moreover, the reason they stole the marriage was because Long Fei was very unhappy with Meng Qian. He couldn't bear to see a beautiful girl marry a gay man and destroy her entire life. But this time, the situation had changed too quickly, not to mention Long Fei. Even Meng Qian was completely dumbstruck. The elders and disciples of the Meng clan were even more dumbfounded. It was the same in the surrounding groups. Princess San Moon lowered her body slightly as her cheeks flushed red. "Thank you, uncle." The Demon Emperor waved his hand and said, "Thank me for what? This is what I should do, and ever since your father passed away, I didn't really care about your San Moon tribe." He had turned into an uncle who doted on his little niece. Princess Sand Moon shook his head and said, "It's not hard. It's not hard at all." Her eyes could not help but look at Long Fei. The Demon Emperor said, "Do you like him?" Then the Demon Emperor turned around to look at Long Fei and said, "Hey, boy, my eldest niece has fallen for you. So, if you dare to let her down after marrying her today and entering the bridal room, I will definitely twist your entire life into a fried dough twist so that you won't even be able to pee your pants in your lifetime. Do you believe me?" Air. Long Fei was stunned again. The Demon Emperor shouted, "What are you talking about? Did you hear what I said? Today's wedding, entering the bridal chamber." Chapter 2458. Killing someone. No need to be responsible, right? Chapter 2458. Killing someone. No need to be responsible, right? Icy cold. The cold filled his entire mind. Meng Zhan's body trembled. He instantly knelt down on the ground, and all of the elders of the Meng clan knelt down on the ground and kowtowed heavily. What sort of existence was the Demon Emperor, the Emperor of the Magic Tribe? In the Magic Tribe, he could do whatever he wanted, as there was nothing that could restrain him, nor any rules or regulations that could restrain him. Unconvinced of him, that was equivalent to seeking his own death. However, at this moment, the Demon Emperor glanced at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes and smiled faintly, saying, "I don't need to explain to anyone what I do. Furthermore, I know what you did to my first niece. We'll talk about it later. You are more like a woman than anything else. Why do you want to marry a woman?" He wants to refine the sacred fire. Your Meng clan has already received enough. However, the Demon Emperor chuckled and said, "I can give you a chance. A changeable temperament. You have no idea what he's going to do in the next second." Princess Sand Moon also had a tight look in his eyes. The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei and said, "Hey, human brat, there are people who refuse to accept this. It seems like if you want to marry my niece today, everyone will have to accept it. So, you have to accept the challenge today. As long as there are people who are unconvinced, you must challenge them and make them respect you so that you can marry my eldest niece." The Demon Emperor smiled and said excitedly, "That's right, let's do it." The Princess Sand Moon was startled and immediately said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, that's not good. He's just one person. There are so many people here, and all of them are powerhouses. What if," the Demon Emperor said, "if you want to marry a woman from my magic tribe, you must make everyone submit. Otherwise, he wouldn't be worthy of marrying you." Meng Qian was also excited in an instant. His eyes turned sinister as he said, "All right, ha ha ha. Kid, you want to steal my woman? I want to see how many lives you have left. Ha ha ha." Long Fei, he didn't care at all. His cultivation, strength, and speed had completely surpassed Long Fei's. Winning against Long Fei was simply too easy. As long as he could win against Long Fei, the Princess Sand Moon would still be his, and at that time, he would let the Princess Sand Moon know what a miserable world was. Thinking of this, Meng Qian became extremely excited. Meng Zhan faintly said, "Lord Demon Emperor, what if Qian wins?" The Demon Emperor shrugged. "Then he's my eldest niece's husband." Meng Zhan's eyes flashed with a bright light. Princess Sand Moon's gaze tensed up again, as if he had suddenly fallen from heaven to hell. It was just that, at this time. The Demon Emperor sent an idea into her mind. "Eldest niece, if that brat can't even get through the Meng family trial, then he isn't worthy to marry you. This is a test for him," Princess Sand Moon said, but Meng Qian's realm was much higher than his. He was simply not his match, moreover. And those people of the Meng family, Uncle Demon Emperor, I don't want him to marry me. Let him go. I'll do anything if you let him go. No way, the demon emperor said. He killed so many people from the magic tribe. If he is let go just like that, then what about the dignity of the magic tribe? Your father used up all his blood and sweat forging the devil's sword for me, and I owe it to your father. This time, I'll do everything in my power to help you. However, that kid must pass the Meng clan trial. Otherwise, he did not continue. What did the magic tribe believe in? Strength. Powerhouse. If Long Fei was unable to defeat Meng Qian, even if he tried to defend, it would be useless. This would implicate the Princess San Moon. If you want to marry the Princess San Moon, then you must defeat Meng Qian. The demon emperor said, since there are many people here who are unwilling to accept this, then I allow the three of you to go and fight as you please. Of course, I have my own conditions for you. The demon emperor swept his eyes over her and said, You've all seen someone who wants to be better than my eldest niece, right? The number one beauty in the magic tribe. If anyone can win in the competition, then my niece will become someone's wife. Huh? Really? Wow. Seems like I won't even need to cut my lifespan by 10 years to have such a beauty. Count me in. I refuse to accept this. Why would the women of our magic tribe waste away on a human? Count me in. Me too. Princess San Moon's appearance could be said to be exceptional. Who wouldn't want to have such a beauty? Not to mention, the relationship between the demon emperor and the Princess San Moon was very exciting. As long as they could marry the Princess San Moon, it would be equivalent to being relatives with the demon king. This was an opportunity to soar into the sky. No one wanted to miss it. Suddenly, a lot of people walked up to them. The demon emperor said with a playful smile, Boy, a lot of people want to marry my niece. Is that a great pressure on you? Ha ha ha. Like an old urchin. You have no idea what he wants to do. Princess San Moon also had a headache. She regretted it now. He really didn't dare to use the keepsake left behind by his father to provoke the demon emperor. However, at that time, she really didn't know that Long Fei had come back to snatch the bride. The moment she saw Long Fei, her heart was truly moved. But now, she only wanted Long Fei to leave, and she was willing to marry Meng Qian. The elders of the Meng family numbered in the tens, and all of them were in the spirit refinement realm. Meng Zhan, the patriarch of the Meng family, was in the second level of the arrogant form, and he had a heaven stage flood dragon as well, adding the powerhouse S of the other magic tribes. There were hundreds of them in an instant. Every single one of them was an expert. If he wanted to defeat all of them just by relying on Long Fei and the other two, it was too difficult. The demon emperor laughed. Boy, how is it? Accept the challenge? You may not accept it, but our magic tribe hates cowardly people the most. If you don't accept the fact that you can't marry my big niece, you will have to leave your life behind here. He wanted to force Long Fei to have no other choice. He wanted to know just how much potential Long Fei had. Transformers said solemnly, This is bullying. Can you rely on your own strength to force me to such an extent? We only have 3 of them. How can we challenge them? It's obviously to send my boss to his death. The demon emperor smiled and said, That's right. I was just forcing him to send himself to his death. How is it? Even if you don't accept it, you'll still die. Kai Lina looked at Long Fei. Right now, they were like wild beasts in a coliseum. Not fighting, killed. To fight. He was still killed. They were all dead. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, slightly revealing a smile. Everyone was shocked. He can still laugh. Still laughing at a time like this? Is your brain filled with water? What's he laughing at? Laugh that you're going to die soon? Long Fei walked forward with a smile on his face. I accept, but As the sound of his voice faded, the entire Meng city burst into an uproar. Long Fei accepting this meant that they had the chance to marry into the Princess Sand Moon, and that they would have the chance to soar to the sky in one leap. Long Fei continued, "I have a question." The Demon Emperor said, "Speak." Long Fei said, "You do not have to be responsible for killing those people, right? Don't talk to me about fairness. Fairness is just an excuse for the weak. Understand? If you want to be fair, then fight me one-on-one. I'll give you justice." Transformers was instantly impotent. Fighting the Demon Emperor, even if he had 10,000 lives, it would still be insufficient for him to die. Long Fei said, "It's all right." Actually, he was simply too excited. He didn't know why the Demon Emperor would issue such a challenge. To him, this was simply something that he could only wish for. This is King. It was like giving away experience. He was also worried about how to kill others and gain more experience. He didn't think that the Demon Emperor would actually have such an amazing skill. Long Fei kept the ecstasy in his heart suppressed. Don't let yourself show it. He wanted to laugh several times. Really, this Demon Emperor was too great. Long Fei walked forward. The sword-teeth tiger looked down from above and stared at Long Fei with its two huge eyes. Meng, whose spear on his back, moved, pointing at Long Fei's head. He sneered and said, "Kid, you aren't qualified to fight with our young master for a woman." As soon as he finished, Meng, whose long spear, moved. At the same time, the gigantic sword-teeth tiger opened its blood basin and directly bit at Long Fei with its fangs. The moment he started, he released his strongest power. Qualification? I don't know why people keep carrying on about this. Today, I will show you what qualifications are. In an instant, Long Fei disappeared in place. In the air, with a move of his left arm, the Ju Ke sword was summoned. Boom! He released the heaven flame. Boom! The Ju Ke sword was burning. A sword hacked down from the sky. The man and the beast were divided into two. Fresh blood spurted out onto the ground. Meng, whose eyes were wide open, he did not even know how he died, and the sword-teeth tiger was even more terrified. One slash, instant kill. Shwa! Long Fei landed on the ground, pointed the burning Ju Ke sword, and coldly said, "You want the qualifications to do so, right? This is the right. Is that enough? Not enough, please continue." The entire arena instantly fell silent. They all stared at Long Fei in shock. The power released from the sword was too ferocious. The Demon Emperor looked at the flame on Long Fei's left hand, and his heart trembled. The fire is a fusion of offensive heavenly flames, and also a fusion of sky flames and weapons. Your attainment is not bad. Your sword art is also not bad. The sword is good too. He was very satisfied. He began to like this human a little. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Hu for obtaining 38,000 experience, 30,000 true chi points, and 5 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out a few times. Long Fei was slightly shocked in his heart. Wow, 3,800,000 experience points is a bit too much. When he killed Meng Ape, he only had several tens of thousands of experience. However, Meng Ape's cultivation level was lower than his. At the same cultivation level, his experience suddenly increased by 100 times. Awesome! Long Fei started to count in his heart. An elite monster with 100,000 points experience points. 10 of them is equivalent to 38 million, and 100 of them is equivalent to 380 million. If I can kill over 1,000, that would be more than 3 billion. Wouldn't that mean I have to level up a few levels? It looks like he is trying to break through the Mahayana realm. There's even hope for the Zhenwu realm. 1 billion experience points increased by 1 level. It was extremely difficult, but as long as there were monsters to kill, there was no need to be afraid. There were countless powerhouse-s in the magic tribe. If he killed them all, he would probably reach the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Long Fei was elated. At this time, Long Fei walked back to Transformers' side, looked at the dazed crowd, and asked, "Who else?" "Arrogant." At this time, dozens of people came out and said, "Is it awesome just because you won a match? Do you think our magic tribe has no one?" "Brat, Menghu is nothing. Let me take care of you. The Princess Sand Moon is mine. No one can compete with me." Dozens appeared all of a sudden. The demon emperor immediately became happy and said, "Then why don't you all attack together?" "Ha ha ha." Kai Lina could not bear to watch any longer and said, "There must be a rule for the competition. It should be a one-on-one." "You," the demon emperor said with a smile. "Rules? I am the rule, and what I say is what I say. Are you upset? If you are not satisfied, then let that brat fight with me. I will make you feel very good. How is it? You're not talking? If you don't say anything, then go and fight." Facing the overwhelming power that came attacking him, Long Fei moved his true essence, retracted his Ju Kei sword, and retracted the power of his sky fire. At this moment, the ground beneath his feet suddenly cracked. Buzz. His hands turned into claws, veins bulged all over his body, and his forehead creased. Strips of power were released from his fingers, and then Long Fei faced the sky and roared, "God's Day Burial. Sha Tian. Get lost." Boom, boom, boom. Streaks of sand burst out from the building and flew out. On the city walls, the sand that made up the walls, the sand that was on the ground, and the sand that was in the ruins seemed to be summoned by some sort of powerful force and constantly surged towards the sky. It was as if a black mass had appeared above Long Fei's head, as if a sky made up of sand had appeared. Everyone was shocked, but they did not avoid him. Instead, they looked at Long Fei and shouted, "Kill him first! Kill him!" As long as he killed Long Fei, the cultivation technique he used would instantly crumble. Princess Sand Moon looked at the sky filled with sand, and his heart trembled. The power of the sand demon. Did he absorb the sand demon's power? She didn't have time to think about it now. The god of burial that the sand demon released was in the middle of the desert. There was endless sand, but this was a city, and there wasn't that much sand. Moreover, the power that Long Fei had released was also not enough. It was impossible to kill these experts. He didn't have enough strength. And at this time, boom, boom, when countless of attacks descended, they were all the power of the arrogant form state. In an instant, Long Fei was drenched in blood, and his body was covered in wounds. Heavily wounded, his health point was declining crazily. The spring of life was frantically replenishing it, but it was still a little too late because Long Fei had endured too many attacks. He would not be able to take it any longer. "Not enough. I still don't have enough strength. I can't take it anymore. My health point is dropping too quickly. I can only last 10 seconds at most." Long Fei's heart became anxious. This was the first time he used the power of the God Realm burying art. He didn't expect that because the sand was not strong enough. But he had already reached such a situation. "I'm going all out," Long Fei said solemnly. "Kong Kim, Kai Lina, step back." His left hand moved. Skyfire was instantly released. "Bring it on!" Sky Fire God Sky. Buried, burnt to death. Fall for me. Rumble. Rumble. The heaven and earth rumbled as the thick sand in the sky suddenly began to burn. Moreover, at that instant, it was like the sky collapsing. It came crashing down. The power of the explosion in the sand. the burning power of the heavenly fire perfectly fused with everything at this moment. Under the sand in the sky, as long as dozens of powerhouse were touched by even a little bit of it, their bodies would instantly burn up and be dragged into the sand by the powerful force. Bam! 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 One after another, their bodies burned crazily, exploding crazily. Finally, it became a part of the sand. At this moment, ding, 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 the system beep flew wildly and could not stop at all. Help! Help! Lord Demon Emperor, save me! Help me! I'm not playing anymore. I'm quitting. I'm quitting. Don't kill me. Huff, huff. There was blood on the corner of Longfei's eyebrows. Holding onto the Ju-Kei sword in his left hand, he walked over to her like a god of death in a blood prison and said, "Damn it! Are you calling for help now? Why didn't you scream when you attacked? Lousy." Shwa, shwa. One sword, one slaughter at a time. At first, they were like wild beasts. Now, Long Fei was a butcher. Everyone was stunned, looking at Long Fei one by one. Fear rose up in their hearts. This human, it was a bit cruel. The Demon Emperor was also ecstatic. Ha ha ha. Interesting, very interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen such an interesting person. It's not a simple answer. I can't believe a human with such a monster. No way. I have to think of a way for him to become a member of the magic tribe. The Demon Emperor was a little excited. He was surprised at the power Long Fei had displayed. So, he made a decision. Who else? Do you still have the qualifications? Long Fei heavily roared. At this moment, a wave of cold and chilling aura instantly attacked him, and in almost an instant, Long Fei felt as if his body was frozen. It was also at this time Meng Qian appeared in front of Long Fei, looking at the surrounding corpses with disdain. A bunch of trash. Meng Qian pointed at Long Fei's nose and coldly said, "You die for me." The 5th chapter. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 2461. Long Fei frozen. Chapter 2461. Long Fei frozen. With that said, he did not wait for Long Fei's response. The aura released from Meng Qian's body instantly became incomparably cold. The originally hot temperature quickly turned into a freezing temperature. Ice and amp, cold field. Open for me. The true essence in Meng Qian's body frantically worked. Within 10 meters, the temperature dropped and frost condensed on the ground. This coldness, too deadly. Furthermore, Long Fei was heavily injured just now. His whole body was covered in blood. In a moment like this, the blood stains on his body immediately froze. The wound froze and contracted, bringing about a tearing pain that caused Long Fei's body to uncontrollably tremble. Ice and amp, cold field. They froze the human kid as soon as they got there. Wow. Meng Qian is still the strongest. 18 captains of Magic King does not live up to his name. Seems like today's wedding will continue. I heard that he was born with a cold aura and had an ice-cold cultivation technique. This ice and amp, cold field is like a small world and is completely in his control. This time, that human can't be arrogant anymore. The ice and amp, cold field was Meng Qian's unique cultivation technique. Moreover, it was a natural cultivation technique. Once he controlled her, she would not be able to escape. Just now, he was careless and did not know that Kai Lina could use spatial techniques to save Kong Kim. This time, he would never make the same mistake again. Moreover, it was also impossible for Kai Lina to appear. Hiss, hiss. Hiss, hiss. Long Fei's teeth were trembling as he suddenly took in a breath of cold air. His hair was already covered in a thin layer of frost, and it was as if snow had covered his entire body. Even the blood vessels in his body seemed to be frozen. It was very hard. Boss. Transformers slightly moved. The Demon Emperor immediately shouted out, "Don't go up! Otherwise, this match will be treated as your loss." He stopped King Kong in an instant. However, King Kong did not pay any attention to him. What did the Demon Emperor count for? He was not the magic tribe, so he did not need to listen to the Demon Emperor's orders. Even if it was a competition at this point of time, seeing that Long Fei was in danger, the Transformers did not care. His fists sank. Vajra Tyrant Body. A vigorous energy violently burst out as he took a step forward and heavily rushed forward. At the same time, Kai Lina flapped his wings and took a step forward. The Princess Sand Moon said anxiously, "Uncle Demon Emperor, save Long Fei. Please save him." If he did not save her, Long Fei would probably die. After all, Meng Qian's cultivation was much higher than Long Fei's. One was at the first stage of arrogant form, and the other was at the peak. She had stayed in the ice and amp cold field before, so she knew that the feeling of her entire body being frozen was too unbearable. Once the blood vessels were frozen, the whole body's functions would suddenly stop and the heart would explode. The Demon Emperor was not moved. Seeing that, the Princess Sand Moon immediately kneeled to the ground and said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, I beg of you, please save him. I am willing to marry Meng Qian. I am willing to do anything. I beg of you to save him." Woo woo. Princess Sand Moon could not help but burst into tears. Originally, Long Fei should not have been implicated because of her. Moreover, no man had ever been willing to give such a price for her. Long Fei was the only one, and also the only human. Princess Sand Moon was extremely moved, and it was also because of this that she wanted to protect Long Fei. She would use the rest of her happiness to exchange for Long Fei's life. Even she was willing to exchange her life for Long Fei's. However, the Princess Sand Moon was kneeling on the ground, but the Demon Emperor just frowned and did not stop him. With his power, a mere aura of a mere ice and amp, cold field could crush him. However, he did not do so. He was waiting. He was waiting for Long Fei to erupt. The feeling Long Fei gave him was definitely that he had some tricks up his sleeves, and he was even very strong. The Demon Emperor thought to himself, "Boy, you're about to die. Why aren't you exploding?" He was worried too. In fact, he was even more worried than the Princess Sand Moon because he was pleasantly surprised by the strength Long Fei had displayed. Such a super genius should be someone from his magic tribe. The Demon Emperor did not attack. He was still waiting. If Long Fei didn't have any tricks up his sleeve, then he wasn't worth saving. In other words, he had made a mistake. However, after all, Long Fei and Meng Qian's cultivation were not in the same realm. The difference in realm is a little big if it's in the same realm. Should we save him? It was also at this time when Meng Qian saw the Princess Sand Moon kneeling down and pleading for help for the Demon Emperor. The rage in his heart grew even stronger. He roared, "Bitch, open your eyes wide and look carefully. Watch how I kill him." Ha 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 ha. Fierce, crazed laughter rang out. Transformers rushed forward and shouted, "Let go of my boss." Boom. King Kong powerful fist. His fists moved, heavily punching forward. But, not waiting for his fist to land, Meng Zhan's eyes turned sinister. Roar. The ferocious flood dragon soared into the air. With a sweep of its body, it directly caught Transformers and sent him flying thousands of meters away with a whip. Rumble! A deep crater was created. The flood dragon let out a roar and pounced down from the sky towards the Transformers in the deep pit. At the same time, Kai Lina's body was suddenly blocked by a powerful force. The three elders of the Meng clan descended, and together they released a powerful bell made of qi, sealing her inside. It was locked. One long. The bell rumbled. The vigorous true essence continued to revolve unceasingly. The three great elders bellowed, and the qi bell immediately exploded. Zom! Rumble! The bell was like a huge bell, directly enveloping Kai Lina and locking him in place, and the gigantic sound wave from the bell continued to attack Kai Lina. Ah! Kai Lina screamed in pain. However, she did not try to defend herself. Instead, she flapped her wings and said, "Secret technique, spatial movement. Open." Buzz. The sound from the bell exploded. Just as her twisted body was about to move, the power within the bell exploded. Kai Lina returned to his original form once again. Try again. But the result was the same. He was still suppressed by the qi bell and couldn't move at all. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Looking at Long Fei, who was inside the ice and amp, cold field, Kai Lina was incomparably anxious. At this moment, everything was suppressed by the Meng clan. Humans are just humans after all. They're still too weak for us magic tribe. Yeah, it's too weak. They came just like that to steal the bride. You dare to be so arrogant in front of us magic tribe. Why don't you take a piss instead? All of you are going to die. They were all being suppressed. They were all going to die. The demon emperor sighed in his heart. It seems like I still have to take action. However, also at this moment, a sinister light flashed in Long Fei's eyes. Chapter 2462, Fusion of Second-Level Ghost King. Chapter 2462, Fusion of Second-Level Ghost King. Long Fei's entire body was about to be frozen. Just a head away, the blood in his veins had stopped flowing, and his heart might burst in a few seconds. He was definitely going to die. Everything in his body was monitored by the Demon Emperor. It was also because of this that the Demon Emperor sighed in his heart. He thought that Long Fei would have some tricks up his sleeve, making him feel pleasantly surprised. Even now, he still didn't find this disappointing. However, after all, Long Fei had saved Princess Sand Moon before. No matter what, he had to keep his life. But just as he was about to attack, he suddenly realized that Long Fei's eyes were glowing with a cold light, causing the Demon Emperor's heart to sink. Is it going to explode? At this moment, he stopped again. He knew, if he stopped himself, if Long Fei did not have a backup, then even if Ice and Amp, Cold Field was destroyed, Long Fei might not be able to survive. No. Princess Sand Moon kneeled on the ground and cried. Ha. Trash, go to hell. You want to steal my woman? You think you're worthy? Ha. Who do you think you are? Meng Qian laughed proudly, his face extremely sinister, as though he was a perverted murderer. The people of the Meng clan were also in high spirits. You don't even know who you are. How dare you act so wildly in our Meng clan's territory? Exactly. You dare to fight with our young master over a woman? What the heck are you? How arrogant! How can our Meng family's territory be a place where trash like you act so arrogantly? Ha. The members of the Meng clan were laughing maniacally, even if a lot of people from the Meng clan had died, but suppressing Long Fei and the others would make the Meng family much more powerful. In the future, their status in the magic tribe would be much higher. He's a first-stage arrogant form after all. The difference is simply too great. He was too arrogant. He deserved to die. You stole our magic tribe's kiss, right? Ha. Quite a few people in the crowd also burst out in laughter. Meng Qian glanced at Princess Sand Moon, who was kneeling on the ground and crying, and his heart became more and more pleased. He walked to the front of Long Fei, whose entire body was covered in ice, and laughed sinisterly. "Don't worry, I won't touch her for a bit, but I will let all the men in Meng City trample on her. I will make her the worst bitch in the world." Ha! Hi! Ha ha ha! Mad laughter. At the same time, Meng Qian flipped his left hand. Whang! As the water condensed, an incomparably sharp ice shard condensed in his hand. He pierced towards Long Fei's head and said with a heavy voice, "Die?" Long Fei's eyes were imprinted with an icy sword beam, closer and closer. As long as he slightly punched, Long Fei's body would probably shatter. At this moment, he had to die. The demon emperor's eyes sank. It was already too late. Even if he had the power to instantly grind everything up, Long Fei would have died. There was no time. He was a little regretful about why he had stopped just now. If Long Fei had acted at that time, he might have been able to live on. Humph! The demon emperor sighed in his heart. What a pity! Everyone from the Meng clan was laughing. Many people in the crowd were laughing loudly, mocking Long Fei that he overestimated his own strength. They mocked his arrogance. Kai Lina roared and crazily struck the chi bell. The Transformers crazily rushed out, but every time he would be swept away by the flood dragon. "Boss! No! No!" A hysterical roar. However, nothing could stop Meng Qian, because he was too close. At that moment, the Grim Reaper arrived. The sharp sword tip was about to strike Long Fei, who had a complacent smile on his face. He had won. However, at this critical moment, in the blink of an eye, Long Fei suddenly raised his eyes, the corners of his mouth hooked up, and a piece of the frost on his face suddenly fell, revealing a death god smile. He said, "Are you done playing? It's my turn." Panic. Meng Qian's pupils suddenly contracted as his mind suddenly tensed up. However, at this time, he did not care as much as before, and ruthlessly thrust his sword downwards. Long Fei did not move. It was as if he had been frozen. However, the moment the ice sword in Meng Qian's hand pierced down, it quickly melted and simply couldn't touch Long Fei's body at all. It melted the slightest bit of distance and evaporated in that instant. A long ice sword. Only the sword hilt was left in Meng Qian's hands. A sudden change. Everyone's eyes suddenly widened, and they were all stupefied. The muscles at the corner of Meng Qian's eyes twitched crazily, and he flipped with his left hand. Ah! The ice sword condensed once again. However, this time, Long Fei did not give him another chance. His heart stirred, and he said solemnly, "Come, second-level Ghost King. Fuse with me. Buzz. Rank 2 Rotten Ghost Hand. Can summon second-level Ghost King." The power of the second-level Ghost King was much greater than the strength of a level 1 Ghost Emperor. There was also something special about the second-level Ghost King, which was that it could choose to fuse with his own body without summoning it. Just now, the reason why Long Fei was frozen was because he was waiting. His body was severely injured, and he was waiting for the spring of life to quickly fill up his own health point. The fusion of second-level Ghost King S could only be completed when one's health point was at full capacity. Although Long Fei was frozen by the ice and damp, cold field, his health point did not leak out, so he gave the spring of life enough time. Meng Qian's neck broke, his head tilted to the side, his eyes bulging out, looking extremely sinister. At this moment, The gash on the top of his head was instantly seen through. Dead. He didn't even have the time to scream. 2 fingers moving, instant kill. The system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Qian for gaining 10 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Ice and Amp, Coldfield. Do you wish to cultivate it? 2 system notifications sounded out. Was secretly happy when he heard the name Ice and Amp, Coldfield, but the idea moved. Cultivate. Technique. Ice and Amp, Coldfield grade. Divine level attribute. Ice type description. The Ice and Amp, Coldfield is divided into 3 major domains. The first level Ice and Amp, Coldfield, the second level Frozen Hell domain, and the third level, Absolute Zero. Seeing this, Long Fei was completely dumbfounded. Absolutely. Absolute Zero. What the F*CK? Absolute Zero. Long Fei became excited. If I remember correctly, this should be the lowest temperature found on Earth. This, if I train to the 3rd level, if the area is expanded, I can destroy a plane with just 1 use. This is definitely an ultimate move that can destroy the heavens and the earth. Ha ha ha. Ice and Amp, Coldfield, is only the 1st level. Such a cultivation technique is a waste on Meng Qian. It's fortunate that he managed to use it. Ha ha ha. The system sure feels great. Long Fei was extremely excited. Absolute Zero's damage was simply too monstrous. Excited. Because of his excitement, the power in Long Fei's hands was slightly released. Crack! Meng Qian's head instantly split open and fell from the sky, blood flowing all over the ground. It was at this moment that the members of the Meng clan reacted. Qianer! Meng Qian! Young master! Many members of the Meng clan rushed forward, their eyes wide, unable to accept this reality. The surrounding people were also dumbfounded. Instant kill. Oh my God! What kind of power could instantly kill Meng Qian, who was at the peak of the 9th stage of the arrogant form? This brat couldn't be that old monster from the Zhao family, who is the #1 true martial emperor, Zhao Chongshan, right? It can't be him. This is too strong. It was indescribably strong. The peak of the 9th stage of the arrogant form was not an ordinary strength, but it was effortless. With just 2 of his fingers moving, he had directly strangled himself to death, something that not even the powerhouse of the Zhenwu realm could do. Moreover, it was one thing for the surrounding people to be shocked. Even the Demon Emperor was stunned. He stared at Long Fei in a daze, but his heart started to boil. Good boy, you truly have a big move. I already said it. How could I be mistaken? However, this big move is a little abnormal. The aura of the instant of power and energy is like a completely different person. Moreover, this aura does not even belong to the Zhenwu continent. Abnormal. I like ha ha ha. Then that would be even more. So if he is a member of my magic tribe. The more he looked at it, the more he liked it. Even if Meng Qian was one of his 18 disciples, he would not even take a glance at her after death. Actually, even if Long Fei didn't kill Meng Qian, he would, because he definitely would not let Princess Sand Moon marry such a perverted gay. Otherwise, he would have let down his brother. Ha ha ha. Boss is mighty, boss is domineering. In the deep pit, Transformers was crushed by the flood dragon to the point that he couldn't breathe. In that moment, Transformers suddenly stabbed both his hands into the flood dragon's flesh, causing scales to fly everywhere, fresh blood to burst out, and the flood dragon roared out, "Little snake, this old man will play with you for a while." Kai Lina also shattered the energy clock in the instant that the 3 elders were distracted. Looking at Long Fei, who was floating in the sky, he was also shocked in his heart. so strong again. Ah! Meng Zhan held Meng Qian's head and roared, "Return my son!" Boom! His entire being rose up from the ground as he angrily rushed towards Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes turned cold and smiled. The competition is not over. Now, all of you attack together. It's my turn to go berserk. All of you will die. Ha ha ha. Chapter 2464. Kid, join my magic tribe. Chapter 2464. Kid, join my magic tribe. Level 1 Ghost Emperor had a time limit. Similarly, the fused second-level Ghost King also had a time limit. What Long Fei needed to do now was to kill to his heart's content within the time limit. If power wasn't meant to kill, that would be meaningless. Meng Zhan rushed forward. An elder of the Meng clan rushed forward. Long Fei's eyes flashed coldly. His figure moved. Both of his hands were like ghost claws as he attacked fiercely. Boom, boom, boom. Everywhere he went, not a single blade of grass grew. Instant kill, and even instant kill. As long as they touched it, the immense power would topple it like a huge wave, reaping its life. Once its HP fell, it would do the same. The system beep S in Long Fei's mind exploded. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Zhan for obtaining 50,000 experience points, 40,000 true chi points, and 4 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Elder Meng for obtaining 40,000 experience, 34,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding! Congratulations! The sound of explosions rang out nonstop. Long Fei also kept on killing. He maximized the power of the second-level Ghost King. Anyone who jumped out just now would die, just like the other disciples of the Meng clan. Do it, then you have to do everything. Now that the fighting had begun, it was time to wipe out the entire Meng clan. Because qualification? This was the qualification. In just 3 minutes, it was like a massacre. The elders, disciples, and those people of the Meng family who wanted to stomp Long Fei to death were all overturned by Long Fei alone. The hell runes on Long Fei's body slowly faded away. His strength was slowly decreasing. Long Fei was reluctant, but there was nothing he could do. He could not control the system. The restriction of the system is the restriction. He will not have any room for discussion with you. When the time is up, the power will immediately disappear. However, the possession of the second-level Ghost King allowed Long Fei to see some scenes that did not belong on the Zhenwu continent. When he saw the real Ghost Emperor, he actually looked at with respect. Very strange. Ghost Emperor? Long Fei didn't know what kind of existence he was, but he had heard from the Ocean King that the Ghost Emperor was at least the overlord of a region of the universal realm, and one that had a very high possibility of possessing the ancient inheritance. Why would such a powerhouse have respect for him? Furthermore, Sea King's corrupt ghost hand was only that much, but he could clearly feel that the Ghost Emperor's power was different from his own. He himself was clearly much stronger. However, due to his limitations in rank, he was unable to fully unleash the Ghost Emperor's power. All of these made Long Fei very confused. From the familiar feeling of summoning the Ghost Emperor for the first time to the fact that the Ghost Emperor's power had become stronger, all of these made Long Fei feel like he knew the Ghost Emperor. However, he hadn't even been to the universal realm. How could he know the Ghost Emperor? Could it be? It had to do with his own memories of the seal, but that's not right. All that I have in my memories are matters of the lower planes. There is no such thing as universal realms memories at all. Long Fei couldn't understand. Forget it. I will definitely go to universal realm at that time. I will definitely find the Ghost Emperor and ask around. Long Fei thought in his heart as he checked the system, getting excited. I'm just a little bit away from leveling up. Today's experience was great. Ha ha ha. Boom. In the distance, the Transformers immediately broke the Flood Dragon's mouth, causing its body to twitch a few times before falling to the ground stiffly. Transformers roared as he punched his chest. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Savage Flood Dragon for obtaining 69,000 experience, 67,000 true chi points, 5 Arrogant God energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flood Dragon Blood Essence. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flood Dragon Muscle Bone. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the second stage of Arrogant Form. Buzz. A golden light rose from within his body. At this moment, it was as if a spring breeze had washed over him. His entire body felt indescribably comfortable, and his strength had increased by quite a bit. The toughness of his body had also increased by a lot. Every time he leveled up, his strength and physical body would become stronger, and he would be able to sense the obvious changes in his speed. Awesome! Long Fei was secretly excited. I've finally broken through. On the other side, the expression in the Demon Emperor's eyes suddenly tightened as he looked at the aura on Long Fei's body. You have become stronger. He had broken through. Good boy. To think that you would be able to break through at such a time. As expected, he is extraordinary. Being stared at by the Demon Emperor, Long Fei felt goosebumps all over his body. Lin Ming's eyes turned, and he also looked at the Demon Emperor. Actually, just now, when the second-level Ghost King was in possession of his body, the thought of killing the Demon Emperor flashed through his mind, but the aura of the Demon Emperor made this thought flash in his mind. He wasn't a match at all. Even with the fusion of second-level Ghost King and Wild God energy, he wasn't a match for them. The Demon Emperor was too strong. Long Fei had once again recognized the power of the true Martial Emperor's realm. Last time, Eorong's master probably only used a tiny bit of his power. Ha ha! The Demon Emperor smiled. Her smile was sinister as she stared straight at Long Fei. Long Fei felt goosebumps all over his body, and his hands were drenched in cold sweat. After killing so many Magic Tribe people, the entire Meng family had been wiped out by him. How could the Demon Emperor not care? If he made a move, it could instantly kill him. At this moment, the Transformers rushed over anxiously and stood beside Long Fei. He stared at the Demon Emperor, who had a sinister smile on his face, and said, I don't care who you are. Do you touch my boss for a try? Kai Lina then spread his wings and wrapped Long Fei up. This time, even if she had to risk her life, she would definitely protect Long Fei. The Princess Sanmoon also ran up and stood at the very front, saying, Uncle Demon Emperor, I beg of you, please let him go. I beg of you. The surrounding people reacted. Lord Demon Emperor, we cannot let him go. He killed so many people from the Magic Tribe. How can we let him off so easily? Kill him. Yes, kill him. A human being dares to be so impudent in the Magic Tribe's territory. We absolutely cannot let him off. Many people said loudly. Although Long Fei was very strong, he had completely wiped out the entire Meng family by himself. What the Magic Tribe believed in was power, but Long Fei was a human. They absolutely could not allow a human being to act so arrogantly in their territory. The Demon Emperor's eyes turned cold. Immediately, those people immediately shut up, not daring to utter even half a word. The demon emperor stared at Long Fei and smiled sinisterly again. Long Fei also walked forward and said, "Speak up if there's anything, I'll accept it." If the demon emperor wanted to kill him, he would have done so a long time ago. There had to be something going on. The demon emperor smiled and said, "Kid, how about you join my magic tribe? Meng Qian is dead. It just so happens that you have replaced him to become the 18 captains of Magic King." Chapter 2465, Forced Marriage. Chapter 2465, Forced Marriage. It was a bit sudden. Long Fei was not mentally prepared at all. He thought that the demon emperor was trying to come up with some sort of challenge trick, but he didn't expect. He actually wanted to give himself peace, and even gave himself the powerful identity of 18 captains of Magic King all at once. 18 captains of Magic King, a disciple of the demon emperor. Similarly, this was also a symbol of status, possessing supreme authority in the Magic tribe. Moreover, in the 18 captains of Magic King, there would be one person to replace the demon emperor and become the next leader of the Magic tribe, the new demon emperor. Extremely special. This was the pursuit of the young talents and peerless geniuses in Magic tribe. Long Fei was very surprised. The surrounding people were the same, all dumbfounded. What? What did the demon emperor say? Just now. What? Have him join the Magic tribe. You must know that he is a human. How can he join the Magic tribe? Are you crazy? The demon emperor had always had no rules when doing things. It all depended on his personality. Whoever he looked down on would instantly suffer. But if they saw him correctly, then even a fool would be able to soar into the sky in a single step. Lord Demon Emperor, please reconsider. He is a human. How can he join the Magic tribe? Furthermore, he can't become the 18 captains of Magic King. If by any chance he becomes the new Demon Emperor, then isn't our Magic tribe under the leadership of a human being? Think twice. Walala. Many people kneeled down. However, the demon emperor didn't even look at them. He looked at Long Fei seriously, as if he was waiting for the answer. Transformer scratched his head. Even if he had two heads, he couldn't react in time as he muttered. "Boss, did he fancy you?" Kai Lina asked, "What do we do now?" Long Fei replied without thinking, "Not interested." Not even half a dime. He had come to the wilderness to cultivate and level up. He had come to the Magic tribe more, so that he could see if he could break through to the realm of the Zhenwu Emperor. Become a Magic tribe. Wouldn't that mean we can't defeat the Magic tribe? How could he do that? Other than this, Long Fei was not in a good place to level up. The demon emperor was stunned and immediately said angrily, "You dare to reject me?" His voice changed. Immediately, boundless aura of the demon emperor was like a flood enveloping and surging forward, binding Long Fei in an instant and preventing him from moving. He could crush anyone he disagreed with. Long Fei said with some difficulty, "I, Long Fei, do not have anything to be afraid of, and am not interested in joining the Magic tribe, nor in your identity as 18 captains of Magic King." Ha ha ha. The moment Long Fei finished his sentence, the demon emperor started laughing loudly. Moreover, in that moment, his demon emperor's aura instantly disappeared, and his eyes looked at Long Fei excitedly, saying, "I like his personality." But the demon emperor rolled his eyes and thought to himself, "How could this emperor let you run away when he has his eyes on you?" And then the demon emperor looked at Princess San Moon and smiled. "Brat, you won the challenge just now, so you're the husband of Yu Min's niece. Get married immediately. Let me preside over it." Princess San Moon's face flushed red as he immediately said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, we—" Long Fei was also stunned. "Marriage?" The demon emperor said with a righteous expression, Yuemin, your father is not here, so I am your uncle. Therefore, I will be the one in charge of your marriage. Although this boy is a human, but as you have seen, he did not hesitate to challenge the entire Meng family's powerhouse for your sake. He looks a little ugly, his character is not good, and his cultivation is average. But I think he's sincere to you. Do you like him? The Princess Sand Moon said, Uncle Demon Emperor, this, that. The Demon Emperor asked, Are you just going to answer that you like it or not? Answer such a question in front of so many people, any girl would be shy. However, the Demon Emperor didn't give the Princess Sand Moon any time to react and said, You don't like it? If you don't like it. He killed so many people from the magic tribe. As the Demon Emperor, I can't just sit by and watch. Boy, consider this your bad luck today. The Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with anger. He turned his hand and slashed at Long Fei. The Princess Sand Moon was so anxious that he could do nothing about it. I like him. The Demon Emperor chuckled, and the power in his hands immediately disappeared. Boy, my niece has taken a fancy to you. If you don't agree, then do you believe me? Thinking about Long Fei's personality, the Demon Emperor changed his tone and said, Who cares if you like it or not? Even if you don't like it, you still have to marry. Then he added, Anyway, I like it. Long Fei was stunned. He was completely dumbstruck. It can actually be this way? Are you King fighting over a marriage as well? However, the wedding started with Long Fei stealing Meng Qian's wedding. Now, the Demon Emperor directly forced them to marry. I don't agree. Long Fei said loudly. The expression in Princess Sand Moon's eyes changed slightly as he became somewhat sorrowful. Long Fei immediately said, I'm not targeting you. I just think that's too fast. The Demon Emperor's eyes widened, and he shouted, My big niece, Magic Tribe's #1 beauty, the successor of the ancient refining families. Do you not agree? What right do you have to disagree? Kid, don't refuse a toast. Long Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and said, The matter of marriage is something that you willingly do. Do you think we'll ever be happy again? Even if I like her, isn't it too fast? Force. The Demon Emperor muttered the word, and then revealed a sinister smile. With a move of his right hand, an enormous power immediately wrapped around Long Fei. The aura on his body also moved. Buzz. Long Fei's body was being controlled. The Demon Emperor laughed. Forced? This is forcing. Thank you for reminding me. Now, immediately, get married. Hey, who is it? Call all those speakers and drums over here. The wedding will be continued. And you people, I don't care which tribe you're from. If my eldest niece can't give you a proper wedding gift, I won't forgive you. The Demon Emperor immediately forcefully controlled Long Fei. Moreover, they even forced the onlookers to do so. They had already given him a gift. Now, he still had to give them one. They didn't dare to refuse because this was an order from the Demon Emperor. They had provoked who? Too tragic. What should we do? Transformer scratched his head. He did not know what to do now. Kai Lina laughed. It's just a wedding, a joyous occasion. We should be happy for him. Transformers was stunned, then immediately laughed out loud. Right, boss got married, and married the #1 beauty in Magic Tribe. He should be happy, ha ha ha. Long Fei wanted to die. He couldn't even speak now. His body was also out of control. The Princess Sand Moon walked to Long Fei's side and said, I'm sorry, Uncle Demon Emperor has such a strange personality. You're acting right in front of me. He forced a smile, but Long Fei could feel it. Thus, Long Fei said, How can I act? Since you're married, you're my bride. You still need to enter the bridal chamber tonight. The demon emperor's eyes were fixated on the golden armor on his body as he muttered to himself, "The armor is not bad, and it's even crafted from gold. If it melts, my eldest niece will probably make a bunch of golden war device." Transformers was startled. He immediately retreated and said immediately, "The armor on me is grown from my flesh. I cannot take it off. I cannot take it off." He was extremely afraid. The demon emperor had a fickle temperament. He was just like a lunatic. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do, just like when he was married. Not agree. Humph. Bind him directly with his strength, whether you agree or not, as long as he agrees. The armor grew out of the body? Not bad. Your head. 2 heads. 1 extra is useless anyway. It should be good to use it as a chair. Hey, little fellow, don't run. Ha ha ha. The demon emperor laughed loudly as he saw the Transformers run out like a madman. And then his gaze turned and stared at the cold Kai-Lina. Kai-Lina immediately said, "I'm not drinking." The demon emperor's eyes widened as he revealed a displeased expression. "You didn't drink alcohol? So you're not happy? You don't like my eldest niece's wedding?" It was impossible to guard against. Kai-Lina wanted to cry and said, "If my lord gets married, I won't even have the time to be happy. How can I not accept this?" The demon emperor said, "You make it sound so far-fetched. Do you also like that boy?" "Kai-Lina," the demon emperor said, "if I had known this would happen, I would have let the 3 of you marry. There isn't much of a single wife in our magic tribe. As long as the man is strong enough, he can marry any woman in the world. I don't mind if he marries a few more." "Kai-Lina," the demon emperor said, "why don't we hold another wedding tomorrow?" Kai-Lina flapped her wings. She really couldn't take it anymore. Shwa! He soared into the sky and disappeared into thin air. The demon emperor grinned and laughed. "I'm not joking." Following that, he then shouted at the people in the courtyard, "Who else didn't give me a gift? Be well behaved, and if I find out someone didn't, I'll break his 3rd leg." The people in the yard complained. Right now, they were almost naked. He even lost the clothes he was wearing. On the other side, the pile of spirit weapons and treasures were like a small mountain. At this time, one of them said, "Lord Demon Emperor, we have already given you gifts as the uncle of the Princess Sand Moon, and also the host of our wedding ceremony. What have you given us?" With that, many people started to jeer. "What did you send? Just ask us to send you off. What did you give us?" "Exactly. Show us what you're giving us." The demon emperor wasn't angry. He grinned and chuckled. "You want to see? All right, then let me show you." And then the demon emperor took out a set of undergarments from the space ring. That's right. A set of underwear. It was a brand new underwear, and it even had lace on it. Although the method was different from his previous life, everyone could tell that it was just a piece of black, seductive underwear. The demon emperor said with a smile, "The things you're giving are trash. Only this demon emperor knows what they need. They need a harmonious married life and a happy sports life." Everyone's eyeballs were about to fall out of their sockets. "That works too?" The demon emperor thought to himself, "My eldest niece is wearing this set of clothes. With her looks, how could that man possibly leave? Isn't it all about staying in my magic tribe obediently? Ha ha ha. This demon emperor is a genius." And then the demon emperor said, "Men, bring this set of clothes to my room. Remember to let her wear it. Understood?" A servant girl walked forward and said, "As you command." Ha ha ha. The demon emperor laughed out loud again, thinking, "Boy, the person I have my eyes on can let you escape. Then I, the demon emperor, have wasted all these years of living here, haven't I?" At this moment, someone asked, The clothes just now were for the bride. What about the groom? What did you prepare? Don't tell me you also prepared a set of underwear. Stop blinding us. I've already lost one. I don't want to lose another. A one-eyed man said. The demon emperor rolled his eyes. Am I such a lowly person? Everyone nodded. F***CK. The demon emperor disdainfully said, I've prepared 2 gifts, one for the bride and the other for the groom. That is, the demon emperor pretended to be mysterious and faintly smiled. Everyone in the courtyard quieted down and looked at him. After mulling over for half a minute, the demon emperor said, I will take him as my last disciple and become one of my 18 captains of Magic King. The impeachment conference was a council member formed by the patriarch of the 10 tribes, impeding the demon emperor. Once the meeting was approved, then, no matter how strong you are, once you are abolished, you will no longer be the demon emperor of the Magic Tribe. All the tribes in Magic Tribe would not listen to his commands. However, the impeachment conference had never been launched because even if the demon emperor was defeated, the demon emperor had made mistakes in his decision-making. However, the loyalty the Magic Tribe had towards the demon emperor was extremely high. However, for a human to become 18 captains of Magic King, that was the bottom line. Humans, MO and MO, could not tolerate each other. To let a human become 18 captains of Magic King, if by any chance, what would happen if a true human clan member obtained all the inheritance of the demon emperor and became the demon emperor of the Magic Tribe? The Magic Tribe was controlled by a human. Where could the people of Magic Tribe place their faces? The demon emperor smiled. The impeachment committee? Zhu Tianlu kneeled down and said, as long as you take back what you just said, I am willing to die to atone for my sins. Many people followed suit and kneeled down. The demon emperor could be said to be doing whatever he wanted in the Magic Tribe. He was unbridled and unrestrained, but that was it. Conference on impeachment, just like the Council of Elders above the king. Usually it doesn't matter, but once you make a basement line mistake, this parliament might start. The demon emperor gripped his fists together and then gently thrust them out, falling silent. His mind was thinking nonstop. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do. The reason he wanted to become the demon emperor was because of his personality. He wanted to be unrestrained and do whatever he wanted. But this time, he was in trouble. He also did not expect that accepting a human as his disciple would bring him so much trouble. He just purely wanted to get a genius like Long Fei. There were no other ideas. He just felt that, although Long Fei could give Magic Tribe a different kind of power than what he had given this world, it was still a different kind of exciting news. Let go. The demon emperor felt somewhat unwilling. All these years, he had been searching for a genius. Every single one of the 18 captains of Magic King were extremely freakish geniuses, and every single one of them could take charge by themselves. Even Meng Qian's aptitude in the 18 captains of Magic King could only be considered average. In the Magic Tribe, he had 18 disciples, all of whom were geniuses that only appeared once in 1,000 years. As Meng Qian fell, his heart did not feel any pain, because the death of his disciple meant that he wasn't strong enough. When Long Fei appeared in his heart, he was stunned. He was attracted by the power, aura, and unswerving determination in Long Fei's body. This kid had potential, very great potential. He really wanted to take Long Fei in as his disciple, but he did not expect Long Fei to actually reject him, which made him want to take Long Fei in even more. But now, the impeachment conference, he knew clearly in his heart that the moment the conference was initiated, he would be impeached and ousted from the position. It did not matter. What was more important was that he would not be able to take Long Fei as his disciple. Go just like that. No way. That's not my style. The demon emperor's heart turned grim. He looked at the elders kneeling in the courtyard and said, "There is another way to start the impeachment conference." Seeing that the demon emperor wasn't willing to give up, Zhu Tianlu earnestly said, "Lord Demon Emperor, why do you insist on taking in a human disciple? Which one of the demon emperor's 17 sons wasn't a genius? I can't believe there's no one better than him. And our magic tribe still has many peerless geniuses." That's right. Just listen to old Zhu's words of advice. Please. The many old men all knelt down in persuasion. The demon emperor acted as if he did not hear what they had said and said, if he can withstand the rotation of the magic tribe, then he would be qualified to do anything, and I can take him in as my disciple. As soon as he finished, Zhu Tianlu's eyes narrowed. The 10-story Devil Tower test. This was a test set up by the magic tribe for outsiders. Once they passed, there would be no reason for magic tribe to stop them from doing anything. But so far, no one had managed to pass the 10-story Devil Tower trial. Not to mention a human, even people from the magic tribe would not dare to try, because this test was simply impossible to pass. Not only was it a competition of cultivation, strength, and martial skills, it was an overall competition. Every floor was filled with the peak powerhouses. Also, if he lost the match, then Long Fei might die inside. And not only that, the people who recommended Long Fei to enter the 10-story Devil Tower trial would also be expelled out of Magic Tribe. This punishment was too severe. No one was willing to try. The Demon Emperor chuckled and said, "That's right, the 10-story Devil Towers test." You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.